approval. Can any honorable member please move that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, the 28th of October, 2021 be approved? Yes, Olyundum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move that the record of votes and proceeding of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 28 October 2021 be considered and approved.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? Yes, Nyanija. No, it's Banjul North. Sorry, Banjul Central.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
You did not raise your tag properly, sorry. Yes. Thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, the 28th of October, 2021 be approved. Any issues, corrections, or observations from honorable members? We'll start with the front page. No issues on the front page. We go to the next page, which is page 1 then. Page 1. Can we just check the attendance so that we ensure that everybody is correctly captured? Page 2, continuation of the attendance. Page 2. Yes, Sabasanya.
Thank you. Page 2, number 19, Honorable Member for Jara Central, and 27. We are not present and they are captured in the present list.
Confirm, Honorable. Namina is, but I don't. Jara Central. Jara Central, yes. Yes, thank you. Any more observations on page 2? 2. Wuli is, no? Lower Fuladu? Okay, thank you. Page 3 then. Yes, Lower Badibu. Page 3.
Yes, page 3. Under the absentees list, absent with permission, Honorable Shekumara was here yesterday. Yes.
Yes, Sami.
Thank you. It's the same page, page 3. I was also present yesterday. I was here, and Honorable Lamin J. Sani also was present. And Mahanera, Honorable Mahanera.
Yes. Nominated Seka, I thought I saw your tag. Okay. Is it fun? Any more observations on page 3? We are all together. Page 4. Yes, Wuli East.
Yes, thank you. Page 4, the first paragraph under Honorable Minister. Third line. The bill was deemed to have been read for the first time. For the first time, which have been read a first time. I think that is our language. And when you come to section put, it is seconded. It says that the bill be read a seconded time. It should be read a second time. And
well, I agree with the second correction from you, but for the first one, we'll have to look at the grammar again.
Yeah,
but the second one is definitely
the first time. Okay.
It's all a matter of semantics.
Yeah, and then
we've taken notes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then for the adjournment, it's a sharp for the debate and consideration. I think we just put off the budget speech to complete the sentence. All right.
Any more observations? Yes, Jimara.
Thank you. The adjournment, I'm seeing Friday, 29 November 2021. I think it should be 29 October.
Observations? I take it then that we are all satisfied with the records. Thank you, as amended. Thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, the 28th of October 2021 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Thank you very much. Clerk, can we proceed then? Thank you.
Thank you. Bill, consideration and debate on the Appropriation Bill 2022 by the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, as per clause 87, subclause 4 of the standing orders, the bill, that is the Appropriation Bill 2022, was seconded by the Honorable Member for Nyanija on Thursday, the 28th of October 2021, and the debate was adjourned till today. We will therefore start the consideration and debate on the Appropriation Bill 2022. But before I open the floor for honorable members' interventions, I just wish to draw our attention to clause 87.5 of the standing orders, which reads, and I quote, "On resumption of the debate, the scope of the debate shall be confined to the financial and economic state of the Gambia and the general principles of government policy and administration as indicated in the bill." End of quote. I invite all honorable members and myself to respect and observe the rules as indicated above. And on that note, may I invite honorable members who wish to take part in the debate to raise their constituency tag to be recorded accordingly. Thank you very much. I can see we'll start with honorable member for Serekunda, and please can we take the records? Wuli East and nominated member. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We are dealing with the final phase of our engagement with the executive in providing public services to our population. The purpose of having this assembly is to ensure that laws are made, services are provided, and that we continue to be the guardian that would ensure that the services are accessible to our population in equal measure and are of high quality. The starting point is to provide the resources necessary and identify the areas where they should be invested in order to provide the necessary service. The Honorable Minister had indicated the environment in which the 2022 budget is framed. That we have experienced the shock of a lifetime in the shutdown of the productive base due to COVID-19. And now we are recovering from the shock, but the shock is not the final phase that we envisaged. He emphasized that the possibility of shocks reoccurring is there. So what is more important than anything else is for the Honorable Minister to indicate to us how to prevent recurrence. And I have not seen a real plan for universal vaccination. What I've seen is 13% of a targeted group being vaccinated. But how do we attain 100% is still elusive. And Honorable Speaker, COVID-19 is real. I witness it. I'm a living witness because of having been infected. And not only infected in a small way. I face the worst of the illness, and it is because of doctors like Dr. Danso, Dr. Vitei, and the intelligence we collectively displayed to fight the illness that made it possible for me to be here today with you. I would say that many people died because of our incapacity for them to go through what I went through. So it is important that we make this a primary concern, that it is still an emergency. And an emergency requires real action to ensure that lives are not lost. And vaccination is the key. And building a system where the actual material, human, and financial resources are mobilized, consolidated, and retained would be most significant in maintaining our fight to be a fight that is worth fighting and winning. We already have a knowledge base, we should not lose it. We have human resources, we should not lose them. We should really give attention to those people who are at the front line and give them the support that they deserve so that we maintain the capacity we have to fight the illness. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister had indicated to us the sources of our funding to continue to provide services to our population. I've already mentioned this before, that we are relying on taxation, the grants and the loans, to be able to sustain services in the country. But the taxation has limit. If the productive base is not growing to commensurate the level of taxation at a given stage, you will have economic contraction because you will be taxing people and incapacitating the productive base from continuing to produce, to pay the taxes that are needed. So it is essential for some diversification in the sources of funding our services. And nothing is more vital than to look for ways and means of ensuring that the public enterprises are properly managed and directed in their financial and operational development to be able to pay dividend to government. That is why commercial public enterprises are established, to be able to pay dividend to government and therefore create sovereign national wealth that can be relied on to be able to provide financing of our services. And that is why Section 21 of the Public Finance Act makes the payment of profit of public enterprises as part of the sources of revenue for the government. And it is important, therefore, that emphasis is paid on that in order to be able to survive in the future. Otherwise, we will suffer economic contraction, and therefore that will impact on the quality of services that we are going to provide. Honorable Speaker, we have seen the importance of the monetary system, the financial system, the fiscal system. The Honorable Minister has told us that the real basis of development constitutes the three sectors: the agricultural sector, the industrial sector, and services. What is not very clear in the deliberation of the Honorable Minister is how much agriculture is actually contributing to our GDP. We've seen percentages of growth and decline, but what is really important to understand the true nature of the real sector is to know the percentage that agriculture is contributing to GDP, the percentage industry is contributing, the percentage services are contributing. What we know is that the heart of the real sector constitutes the service sector. I have emphasized that the service sector is most important, but it is a sector that relies mainly on advanced technology and therefore can generate huge income, but will not be able to distribute that income to the general population in order to address the issue of poverty. So it is therefore important to see that, yes, the sector is strategic, but strategic only if it can produce investment capital to be able to diversify the private sector, that it is not really restricted to just certain sector, which produce quite a lot to add to the GDP, but not really adding much to the productive base of the economy. So what investment strategy will the government have to be able to engage that sector so that either they expand the economic scale to go to other parts of Africa, or also to expand the diversification of their investment into other sectors, so that they'll be able to pull other sectors up and therefore add value to the economy as a whole and provide the basis of employment. So it is important, therefore, for the government to have a strategy that will enable those who have the wherewithal to know that they can engage the Gambian economy and stay engaging by investing in areas that are priorities to the government itself. I've not seen the priority areas that an investor who is already entrenched and making resources could really invest in a safe way and continue to expand the productive base that they have. Failing to do that, you will have real flight of capital, people just simply sending their monies abroad and therefore get resources from getting interest on their deposits. And that will not really help the economy. And the reason why I'm saying that, Honorable Minister, is constantly we are told that up to 1.6 billion is being exchanged in the currency market. $1.6 billion, but you don't see where it impacts in the productive base or to even increase our GDP. Because 1.6 million will be almost 60-something billion or over that. So we are talking about something that is very massive. But where is it going? And I believe that that should be an inquiry of every government that is in the Gambia at this moment, where in actual fact, there is really not another hidden economy which cannot be even assessed and included in assessing of our GDP as a whole. Honorable Speaker, it is important to look at our agriculture and not to simply please ourselves with pleasantries of extension work and training farmers we all know that the real core issue is to be able to produce based on self-reliance and self-determined development. We need to feed ourselves, and we have the land to be able to feed ourselves. 550,000 hectares of land. We can feed ourselves, but we must have the policy to be able to feed ourselves. We're being told that the Japanese are giving 123 million as aid. They are relying on their land to produce, to give us the rice that we say we need as aid. Why are we not producing enough rice? The plants have been here for ages, 56 years. And up till now, we are importing nothing less than 200,000 tons of rice, up to 300 and something thousand tons of rice. And what we are producing, 23,000, going 57,000 tons of rice. Many statistics everywhere. And it varies, it changes. Dropping here, rising there. That is not telling us that we are in charge. It's like we depend on the vagaries of the weather. And no concrete plan that could really cushion us. At least every year you said this is the short, medium, long term. At least the short term you achieve this. Medium you go higher. Long you come closer to solving your problem, but that is not the case. So I would not say that the National Development Plan has actually gone to the level of helping us with our fisheries, with our livestock, with our crop, in order to promote self-reliance and self-determined development. We are not really moving towards self-sufficiency in food production. And that is a key thing to our independence and our sustainable development. Honorable Speaker, without processing what we produce, we cannot have industries that will provide work, or even light scale, even cottage industries. We are not talking about big industries. You can have cottage industries. That's how India developed. You have cottage industries that will be able to produce at least the basic things. And there, it must be strategically placed so that investment will go to those cottage industries to be able to cushion the productive base. But there is no strategy, no plan really showing how we can involve the people in actual moving from just mere raw material production into processing that will diversify, add value, and therefore provide jobs and provide wealth to our population. Honorable Speaker, therefore, I am emphasizing that we are still lacking the type of development plan that will really prepare us to take charge of our own destiny. Honorable Speaker, looking at the different sectors, the key sector that we are engaged with at this moment is the finance and economic affairs. This is a key ministry. And we are seeing that the government will not be able to move forward without giving all the wherewithal to that ministry to strategically plan all sectors of the economy. And that is precisely the reason why I would want to remind the Honorable Minister that what he had said is very significant. That in terms of the fiscal side, the building up of a system of collection of revenue that will be able to sustain at least the key requirements of the government is most important. And there is absolutely no doubt that the effort to digitalize is key. And the effort to ensure that the Treasury single account is also key, because it is helping to ensure the depository of what is needed, and therefore you will be able to continue to sustain some of the requirements. He has mentioned to us some of the key drawbacks. For example, the duty waivers. According to the minister, we have lost almost 1.1 billion. But the minister is not very comfortable with what is legally provided for in order to ensure that we do not suffer such losses. And I would like to know his mind while he is uncomfortable with that. Because, Honorable Speaker, the law is very clear. Section 149, subsection 5 of the Constitution. I'm sorry, Honorable Speaker. I'm not relying too much on my memory. Yes, it's section 149, subsection 3 of the Constitution says, where any law confers power on any person or authority to waive or vary a tax imposed by any law, the exercise of that power in favor of any person or authority shall be subject to the approval of the National Assembly. That's what the Constitution says. It means that no waiver should be done anywhere without approval by the National Assembly. So these losses would have never been possible if such oversight was exercised. But I've heard the minister say something about that, and I want to hear him again why he believes that this can really create quite...
Honorable?
Yes.
Sorry, I just want to follow your line of argument. You referred to the section in the Constitution. Can you just help me refer? Let me get the citation. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister told us that in terms of duty waiver, I'll come. I'm laying the premise that we've lost almost 1.1 billion. In that sense, I'm asking why Section 149, subsection 3 of the Constitution is not put into force. Because that section is saying, the citation, where any law confers power on any person or authority to waive or vary a tax imposed by any law, the exercise of that power in favor of any person or authority shall be subject to the approval of the National Assembly. I'm saying that if that is done, then the likeliness of losing 1.1 billion will be diminished. I've raised this issue before, and I had the Honorable Minister murmur something in terms of bureaucracy, etc. And clearly I would want to know his mind why this would not be the most efficient way of handling, such an issue. It is also important to emphasize the need for loans, especially that are being sought for public enterprises to also move into the direction that has been provided by the Constitution. Not only the loans, but also establishing agreements with international bodies, bodies that, for example, sometimes collect huge sums of money from our economy by simply delivering services that the government can provide. The government can provide ID cards. It can provide passports. It can provide every service that is now being provided to collaboration with other partners, and we are losing a lot of revenue, a lot of money by virtue of that. And the purpose of establishing a government is to provide services. And it is important for that government to engage in capacity building and ensure that it harnesses the material, financial, and human resources to be able to deliver those services, rather than actually allow others to do that and enrich themselves at our expense. For example, Honorable Speaker, Section 155 of the Constitution needs to be constantly looked at, and the National Assembly may have internally to develop our own regulations on how to ensure that the ministry follows what is provided for. Because it is saying under Section 155, subsection 4, that an act of the National Assembly authorizing the raising of a loan shall provide that the terms and conditions of a loan shall be laid before the National Assembly, and that the loan agreements shall not come into operation until they have been approved by the National Assembly. That any money received in respect of a loan shall be paid into the consolidated fund and some other public fund of the government. And this is not only dealing with loans that we've been ratifying, but what about loans to public enterprises and other bodies? And it says under subsection 5, an act of the National Assembly may provide for the application of this sector with any necessary modification to any guarantee by the government or an international business or economic transaction to which the government proposes to become a party, which means that we really need, before the end of this term, to come to terms with the ministry that before we have any form of business contracted by this government, such as the issuing of passports, etc., that the matter comes before this National Assembly for approval. The Constitution envisages that, and we should ensure that we provide the facilities to be able to have that. This will ensure greater accountability and transparency and avoid real loss of revenue by the government. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister has emphasized the state of our public enterprises, the audit exercise that had taken place. The need for corporate social responsibility has actually led to a lot of loss of revenue by public enterprises. And not only that, cross-enterprise debts had also led to a lot of loss. So instead of public enterprises investing their profits into the productive base of the economy and generate more revenue, they've been giving loans to each other so that they'll be able to survive. And now there is a lot of cross-debt reconciliation in order to have payment by public enterprises. So they are all drowning each other rather than enhancing the development of the productive base, which should be the third sector that should generate, or the fourth sector and main sector that should generate sovereign national wealth for the country. So there is definite need to look into that. I'm sure before the end of this year, we should be laying the report of the Public Enterprise Committee on this matter, and we'll be drawing attention to some of the key issues. So there is no need to really dwell much on the issue, because it is evident that the public enterprises cannot at this moment pay much dividend to the government. Only 3 this year had paid dividend, and it is dividend backwards. So in essence, really, they are not serving the purpose for which they are established, especially the commercial ones. Honorable Speaker, it is important to look at fisheries. This is a sector that should actually generate a bulk of the sovereign national wealth that the country needs. But at this moment, we do not see any injection of any form of investment that will enable us to harness anything from our own resources. We are depending entirely on licensing, and we are not saving this license, earning from license, to invest in any way. So in that regard, Honorable Speaker, this area needs to be re-strategized so that it will give the value that is necessary to help us to harness our own wealth. Honorable Speaker, we have seen the issue of telecommunication. There is no doubt that government intends to invest more to add another cable to the ACE. I believe the ACE, we invested $25 million. And it is important for the minister to tell us how much we have recovered so far to be able to pay this loan, and what is really being done to reposition our own institutions to have the earning capacity to be able to sustain, such investment. Because investment that cannot be sustained will ultimately lead to privatization, and at the end of the day, somebody else will benefit at the expense of the nation. So we must not allow that to continue. That is, use public resources to generate technological innovation and development, only to lack the capacity to harness from that investment what the nation needs for its development. At the end of the day, we work publicly in order to empower people privately to make more wealth at the expense of the public. That is not acceptable. That's not reasonable. So, Honorable Speaker, we look at tourism. The Minister has made it very clear that 74% of tourist visits had been lost because of COVID-19. It was anticipated that in 2021, tourism would generate over 350,000 visitors. Clearly, that has not been achieved. What do we do to change the trend? And that is why the Minister had said vaccine-led tourism recovery. that is the language of the Minister. So the Minister is saying because of introduction of vaccine, the Gambia has become safer. And that is why it's anticipated that there will be recovery in our tourist sector. Then why don't we have universal vaccination? Since the vaccine is really leading to important development in the tourism sector, what is holding us from developing a policy, a program, a project for universal vaccination? It means that the country can be opened more and more, and it will generate more and more investment. So I believe the two are linked, and it should be done. Honorable Speaker, we have seen how you can diversify tourism in order to benefit the population at large. He has talked about certain pacts that can actually enhance certain nationalities to come to the Gambia, like Mongo Park, etc. What I know is that the villages of Karantaba had interest in taking charge of that memorial area and be responsible for cleaning and involving the village in the process. But as far as I know, there is little involvement of those who originally wanted to really take charge of that responsibility, and they had developed a lot of links at that material time. So we must involve the people in whatever is done in these areas of development, because that will lead to sustainability and it will lead to benefit. How tourism will benefit the population at large is very clear to us, but it's not clear why we are not moving on that path. Because properly assessing all our needs, the needs of the hotels, the crafts and other things that tourists will buy, and annually make concrete plans to produce those goods and services before the coming of the tourists would be a way to really help our population to benefit more from tourism. But all of us agree that our hotels, the restaurants, many of them depend entirely on goods that are produced in this country to be able to attract the tourists. Either by having money for the country, to ensure that what the food that they eat in their own countries are actually transformed into delicacies, so that the tourist crowd will actually consume the food and therefore add value to our national economy. That is absolutely essential. Honorable Speaker, we have seen the issue of trade. The Minister has made it very clear that Africa has a 1.2 billion continental market. And therefore you can have economic of scale. But that is inconceivable without building the financial structures, building the institutions that are necessary, building the businesses that can have continental spread. So it means that it's not enough just to talk in the abstract. It will be important to see what preparation we are doing at the moment. What is GAIPA really doing under the circumstances? Which businesses in the Gambia are being mobilized? How are they being prepared? What information are they receiving about this continental trade? What products are they producing? How can they be assisted to really begin to expand those products? What is the marketability? How do we develop? The reason why Europe developed is because after the Second World War, they created institutions. They created the World Bank, which is the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which gave countries the wherewithal to be able to increase the productive base. But they also created the International Monetary Fund. IMF was not meant for us, it was meant for them, so that to facilitate their trade, so that if there is imbalance in trade, they will give the loans necessary so that they will be able to buy the product and pay later. So which means that Africa must not just talk about a free trade area, it must be accompanied by the institutions that will facilitate that trade, that will give support. So we need to be prepared. It's not only lip service. We will need to be prepared for the expansion of that trade. I'm not sure how prepared we are and who is being prepared at the moment. And if that is not the scenario, then it is necessary to start that process. Honorable Speaker, we have seen the employment schemes that the government proposes to be able to have the youth employed. We talk about entrepreneurship. We give them lectures. Many schools are available now, training young people in business, in economics, in all aspects of commerce. But the only problem, Honorable Speaker, is without the means of production, ideas cannot actually feed hungry stomach. So what the young people need is to have the means of production in their hands. After all the training, what do you give them so that they can go and actually say, this is the seed money that I'm going to invest, and I'm not just investing it from an anarchist point of view, but I'm investing it because it is strategically an area of investment that will actually give me returns. So what is concretely being done at the moment to create the environment for young people to be able to get the seed money and to be able to invest in a productive base that will ensure their self-employment. That is important. We are not getting anywhere as far as I'm concerned. If you compare over 500,000 children coming out of our school system every 12 years, we talk about in the hundreds of people who have been assisted to be able to gain one area of service or another, to be able to get seed money of one sort to another. We should stop romanticizing, and we should stop really making allegations that young people are lazy and they do not want to work. The reality is that we do not have any financial institution at the moment focused on thousands of young people being given seed money so that they will be able to engage in the productive base of the economy. So it is important that we take that into consideration and work towards building such a financial facility and be able to tell our people every year how many billions we have put in that financial facility and how accessible it is to people who want to engage in self-employment. Honorable Speaker, coming to basic education, I think our committee will be able to get into that, the real crisis at the moment, and also the COVID responsiveness that is necessary to deal with the school system. Are we really maintaining safe social distance in this? Are we giving them the mask that is necessary? Do they have the vaccination that can help? Let's be real, and I would want the minister to really delve into that, how our COVID preparedness in our school system. That is really significant. And not only that, we're having a school system where the teachers are clearly running into problems in certain areas, and I will leave that to our committees, because if you do not provide teachers with proper residence so that they can really serve, then it will be difficult for them to properly deliver. Honorable Speaker, worst of all is the college. Society has a responsibility to take care of its children. It is not the duty of the parent alone to take care of a child. It is the duty of the state. That is why education became public. Education initially was not a public matter. It was a matter for religious groups, etc., humanitarians, to be able to provide services to parents who had to go to work, some who were unemployed, and their children were becoming delinquents all over countries. That is how certain people saw the need for the state to come in, to transform education into a public matter, requiring that the state must train the teachers who should be able to teach the children. That should not be done on the basis of payment by families and parents. That is the responsibility of the state. So, as long as the state is not ready to provide a college to train its teachers, I would not say free of charge, at public expense, then that state is not ready to safeguard the future of its children. And that is a must. The state must be responsible for training its children, otherwise it is accountable for the delinquency of its population. So it is important that we take that into consideration, and not only that, Honorable Speaker, the Constitution is being violated every minute, every second, every day. The Constitution is very clear under Section 30, Honorable Speaker. It says, without equivocation, that, Honorable Speaker, that education is a right. He said that all persons shall have the right to equal educational opportunities and facilities, and with a view to achieving the full realization of that right, basic education shall be free, compulsory, and available to all. That is the language of the Constitution. Secondary education, including technical and vocational education, shall be made generally available and accessible to all by every appropriate means, and in particular by the progressive introduction of free education. Progressive introduction of free education, which means that the fees cannot go higher. It should fall every year. It goes further. Higher education shall be made equally accessible to all on the basis of capacity by every appropriate means, and in particular by progressive introduction of free education. So how can we have cost of education skyrocketing? That is in gross violation of the Constitution. And any government of the day, whichever government may be, has responsibility not to violate this Constitution. And any government that respects this Constitution will not have the cost of education skyrocketing. It must be going down year after year. And this assembly must ensure that. And we do not want any lip service to be paid that no government has ever had the ability to do so. Then don't be a government. Because that is what is required by our Constitution. So, Honorable Speaker, it is important that we remind each other that none of us own this country. It is owned by all of us. And when we establish rules, we must respect them. And we must try to obey them. And it should guide our policy formulation. Honorable Speaker, I do not want to monopolize the whole debate. I know that we do not have time to really handle these issues, but it is important to look at all the sectors. I'm sure the other members will come to that the health sector, what we see in certain places, the security sector, we passed, I think it's Karantaba, and we saw what was supposed to be a station. And if you see that station, those policemen there are under threat because it can collapse anytime. And if it does, we should be accountable as operators of the state for allowing them to be under those conditions. Honorable Speaker, there is much to say, but what is important is for us to know that we are all in it together. We should identify the problems of our people together. We should search for solution together. We must accept responsibility for together, because if we leave anybody behind, then it will haunt us. So when we see increase in crime, increase in mental illness, increase in all sorts of social problems, then let us not say that God somewhere has made people to be this way. Let us accept that we have failed in our responsibility to take charge of our destiny, and therefore we are receiving the very results that we have planted. We plant the seed of national disintegration, poverty, we reap the seed, we reap the plant of poverty and national disintegration. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Honorable members, my attention was earlier on drawn to one issue, but unfortunately it escaped my mind. We're all representatives of our people, and as they say, this is the Bantaba of the Gambia. And I have been made to understand that over the past couple of days, and recently, yesterday, there had been a series of fatal accidents in the country, and many people lost their lives. In Dufoni, I understand about 4, and in URR, and also other regions. So I was just thinking of the Assembly paying a minute's silence to the departed souls. Can we rise, please? I pray. Of the National Assembly, even honorable members comply with rules and procedures laid down, let alone so-called strangers. Just let's try to cooperate with each other. We cannot do without each other. So please, let's exercise more patience and not argue. Just appealing to you guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. May I call on Honorable Member for Woolly East? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Point 21 of page 11, I think page 11. With global trade strengthening as a result of a rebound in merchandise volumes, the Gambia has realized a sharp increase in imports and re-export trade, especially in basic and essential commodities, such as rice, cooking oil, cement, and sugar. This, however, coupled with an increase in commodity prices, which will impact headline inflation as global commodity inflation feeds into domestic retail prices. Honorable Speaker, that was a time when I had an announcement of an embargo on re-export trade. And I was wondering why that was the reason. And since we have experienced a sharp increase in imports and re-export trade, especially in basic and essential commodities such as rice, one would have thought that with that sharp increase in imports, re-export trade would have been an alternative. And I have not seen any reason why that was an embargo. So maybe the minister can explain on that. We all know it is already mentioned that agriculture has declined and only remittances are going up. And the dollar is depreciating against all major currencies except the dollar. And I'd be interested to know why we are restricting re-export trade with a situation where we have a lot of imports of these commodities. Would that not hamper the flow of foreign exchange for the country? Honorable Speaker, The other question that comes to mind is the dollar appreciating against the dollar, depreciating against all other currencies. Despite the fact that we all know we are doing most of our commercial transactions in dollars. So it is intriguing to know why it is appreciating against that dollar, but depreciating against other currencies that we are not using much. Is it that Gambia is now looking for an alternative currency that we can do our transactions with, different from the dollar? Are we diverting from the dollar in terms of that, or what is the reason for that? Or is it that we, of recent, begin to receive a lot of dollars through other means? Because if tourism is declining, it's not giving us the foreign exchange that we require. Agriculture is not giving us that. How are we appreciating against the dollar? Is the question that I want to ask. Honorable Speaker, I think the Minister also mentioned mining, quarrying, electricity, water, and construction, which are all registering a decline in 2021. Maybe there is an explanation for that also, if you can dilate on that. The service sector, which is the main contributor to GDP, is the only area that is registering small growth from minus 7.2% in 2020 to 0.2% in 2021. 28.8 million in 2020. And this is so because we all know it's building construction that is making the manufacturing sector to have that edge. So it's important that we look into that area, because once we neglect manufacturing, we are also neglecting employment, and our people need this employment. We need to employ young people. We must create that area so that we'll boost the processing of our commodities, so that we boost exports. So that's the only way we can develop our economy. Honorable Speaker, on point 25, it is mentioned the agriculture sector is projected to register a growth of 4.5% in 2021, a significant decline from the 11.7% recorded in the preceding year. This is due to late rains, resulting to an estimated decline in all agricultural subcomponents except livestock, which has an estimated growth rate of 4.2% in 2021. I believe this is an eye-opener. Late rains or very little rain. We have the Nemachoso projects. I think all those things came so that we'll be able to divert from dependence on rain to another type of agriculture that will really help our farmers to work both rain season and dry season. But then it's interesting that we bring these projects, spend a lot of millions on them, establish them, but it's kind of not taking them seriously. Because by building these gardens and all this and leaving them there without providing water and all these things, and then what is the essence of it? How can we transform our agriculture from dependent on rain to modern agriculture? So we must take these Nemachoso projects very seriously. Any project that is linked to agriculture must be taken seriously. And I don't know why the committee is quiet on that. And I always challenge them to follow these projects, because there are many, and they can really transform. If it is actually done for the purpose they are brought, they can really bring a lot of transformation. But for me, they are being neglected. Even these routes that is coming, in fact, we have ratified these routes project. But are you monitoring what is happening in the routes? Because my village is contributing to routes. It's a beneficiary of routes project. But I've been monitoring it. I've not seen much progress. So we need to really look into that. Honorable Speaker, like I said, when we design very beautiful projects, we sell it to donors. And donors fund these projects. And then we start implementing these projects, but we neglect them. All this is another method of mismanaging our scarce funds. Increasing debt, increasing debt interest payments. So we must really look into it to ensure that they progress, they succeed. Because if they fail, there is a lot of repercussion relating to that. On the fiscal sector, Honorable Speaker, I believe that there are signs of donor weariness. Because if we look at point 31, what it is telling us is revenue and grants for the first 9 months of the 2021 fiscal year declined from 15.5 billion in 2020 to 11.8 billion. The 24% decline between the two periods is mostly attributed to the decline in project grants by 48% and program grants by 73%. Are we not experiencing donor weariness? Can we continue to really rely on grants as a substitute for our development financing? These are some of the questions that I really have. We must look for the right strategy for development financing. As a matter of necessity, I think we need investment in the productive sector of the economy if we really want to make a headway. And if we look at point 49, which is dealing with capital and financial account, which recorded a deficit of $52.9 million in 2021 compared to a deficit of $28.8 million recorded in 2020. And this trend seems to be on the increase. How do we curtail this trend? It's another question that I want the Minister to dilate on. Honorable Speaker, we all know the negative impact of COVID-19 on our economy, on our bad economy. The economy was not thriving really, and then we have COVID-19, which made it worse. So to recover from the impact of COVID-19, to recover from where we were, will be a daunting challenge. Even though we all know economies all over the world have declined sort of. But I believe our reliance on donor aid to finance our development is not sustainable. And for me, it requires a rethink. We must think about how do we finance our development. Unless we do that, we'll continue to continue the way we are and will remain the way we are. I believe that if you read the speech, especially on point 82, we are definitely assured that an assessment will be conducted on the DFA, that's Development Finance Assessment, to draft a new aid policy that will ensure the alignment of aid resources and also support government's development plans through effective resource mobilization. That's what the minister tells us. And when I read that, I think I tend to believe that the minister is listening to us. That's our major complaint. Because otherwise, we will never have the right strategy, the right tool to finance development. And this major concern, I am so the minister is thinking of how to address this. Will this actually provide the right financing tool for development? Because we must have that tool right, otherwise we'll still be where we are. Honorable Speaker, on point 83, the Gambia Strategic Review Board was created to ensure efficiency of public investments. The board is responsible for the appraisal and approval of all programs and projects, and to ensure their compliance and alignment to national development strategies and priority action plans. During the course of the year, the board, with the use of a project appraisal guideline, PAC, was able to appraise numerous projects in areas of health and education. I believe this strategy, in addition to other strategies, will help a lot. My only concern is, will it not duplicate GAIPA? It's not the same as GAIPA. Otherwise, I was thinking the initiative is definitely worth pursuing. Because for me, my major concern really is how do we go about ensuring that we get the necessary funds to invest to be able to create employment for our young people and to be able to generate resources for our development. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I thank you and thank the Minister for your time.
Thank you very much. Honorable nominated member Seka, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. I want to be as brief as possible. First of all, I would like to thank the Minister for coming up with this information, because without this information, we really wouldn't have been able to say what we are saying. First of all, I would like to say that this COVID is real, and we all know that. But whenever we have constraints or problems, I think there must be ways and means of solving those problems. It's true, the COVID did a lot, not in this country, but in the whole world. But I always listen to the radio, especially BBC, where countries are saying they're having problems, but they are creating ways and means of solving problems. I think for us here in the Gambia, we have our problems, but we do not come up with ways and means of solving our problems. We always talk about the constraints we have. Plans are on the way. Do we know which plans are on the way? And how are we going to solve these problems? And Honorable Speaker, if we have problems and we are not solving them, but just voicing out the problems that we have, I just don't know when we are going to solve it. Since 2016, when we were here, we had about the lifting of the tax on rice. But still rice is increasing. Still rice is increasing. What are we doing? Are we not strategizing? Are we not prioritizing? Are we not investing more to make sure that we boost our economy? Are we seeing any how do you call it, in the Gambia, even to see 25 bututs, 5 bututs and butut is a problem. But if you go to other countries, you buy things and you are giving your change, we see our chicken changes. But those those children who born even before 2020, they don't know the currency. They don't know the 5 butut coin. They don't know the 10 butut coin. And they don't know even the 1 butut coin. So what is, if we see this, where is our economy going towards? We all heard what has been said. Just recently, yesterday, I took somebody to the hospital. But most of the medication was bought. I think we only had 2 from the pharmacy in the hospital. So where are we? Why can't we be as realistic as possible? We talk about issues that we know that are the, but if we come here and say plans are on the way, this is what we're going to do. You bring us the problems that we have. But what on earth are we doing to make sure that all these problems are solved? It's true, I have to thank the minister that we have a deficit of only 2-point-something billion this year. But we are saying COVID. But before COVID, I think we should have been there. We should have had this deficit of 10 point or 2 point something. But during the COVID, before the COVID, we did not have problem, and our deficit was huge. And this year, we are having a very, very, very disturbing problem. This is the COVID, and our deficit is low. For me, I am thinking about this, how, and I would really like the minister to explain. Is it because of the travel? I don't think the travel will be able to solve to minimize our deficit. Because if you say nothing is happening, and then this thing is going down, but the time that COVID is everywhere, it's a pandemic, we know that it is a trying moment, and this time our deficit is going down. I just need explanation. It has been lingering in my mind since it came to my ears that this is what had happened this year. So I would really like more explanation on this so that we will really know what we can do. We really need to do something. We should do something to make sure that this country is a very small country. Look at Singapore. Look at Rwanda. Where Rwanda land, we are not praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it happens in this country. And now look at where they are and how they are. What do they have? They just have human beings like us. We are all human beings. We all know what to do, and we go to meetings, attend conferences, do everything. And when we come, we clear all those files and put it in our cabinet file to guard us. Look at our constitution, as the honorable member for Serekunda just said. Why can't we follow the constitution and do what we should do? Even what the constitution say, if it was not violated, I think this Gambia will be far from where we are. Ministers are coming and going. I'm not pointing finger at any minister, but our strategy is what we should make sure that we do what we are supposed to do, to strategize properly for the betterment of our dearest country. We have nowhere to go but in the Gambia. Everybody, whatever happens, when we run away and there is peace, they will come back again. We will definitely come back again. And we should really come on board. Since 2016, anytime we have program, anytime we have debates, anytime we have this budget speech, we always talk about the same issues. And still we are having the same problem. So I don't know where we are heading to. I think now it is high time for us to come on board. If you say, something happened, why? What happened? Tell us. Complain and tell us what happened, and plans are on the way. What are the plans that are on the way? And if you give us the plans that are on the way, maybe if you have scrutinized it and go through what should be done. I don't think the National Assembly, the judiciary, and the executive, we are rivals. We are not. We are here for the betterment of this country, my friends. I think we should try by all means to come together and see what is good for us. We all need good houses to live. We all need good dresses to put on. We all need everything. But if you look at our budget, just example, I tell you, I am very, very hungry, and I need 3 spoons of rice, and you just come and give me a quarter spoon of rice. Will I be satisfied? I will continue with my hunger. And this is the same thing that has been happening since time immemorial in this country. If a certain minister tells you that he needs 3 million and you give him 700,000, what is he or she going to do with that? I think we should try by all means to make sure that what our ministers need is what should be provided for them. And united we stand, divided we fall. Together we can make it. And we should try by all means to be as realistic as possible. All of us, including myself. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Sandu.
Thank you very much. Point my finger, simply because the livelihood of the people that I'm representing depends on this ministry heavily. That is water. Being whatever religion that you practice, you cannot do without water. So water
Resources Department, since 2017, if you go through the budgets, we are expecting by 2022, the failure that we have in the sector, we should address it in 2022 budgets by relying on ourselves to provide clean water for our people. If you go to the rural Gambia, Honorable Speaker, there was a survey some 20 years ago that shows that the Gambian children, most of them died because of drinking unclean water. And that record is there. I think most of the Department of Government stakeholders know about this. Right now, people start developing kidney problems. They have problems with their bladder simply because the water that they drink is not clean. Just recently, there was a youth who was diagnosed with the same problem, and he was operated simply because the water that they were using, they're living just by a river, the water they were using is not clean, and he has a stock in the urinary system. So, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the budget still now, less than billion, and all the development in that sector is anchored on donor funding. We have grant, Japan grant, the World Bank, and you name them. But yet still from 2017 up to 2022 or 2021, we cannot pound our chest that the government of the Gambia has provided clean water for the rural communities. Only what we depend on is the NGOs. And look, sometimes you go there, they will tell you outright that our coverage is not up to URR. Then what is the hope of those people to have access to clean drinking water? So water resources thing is time now to change our system and make sure that we have our own development budgets to fund some of these projects. The last time the water project that was rolled out, I think it was sponsored by Saudi Arabia. I think that also, for us in Sandu, we are not fortunate to even get one. And we had a permanent secretary on the radio that the Water Resources Department has almost 180 borehole projects. That was 2019-2020. 2021 up till 2022, we haven't seen anything. So we are appealing to the government to help the rural people. Water is a necessity. If you want to cope some of the diseases that we are, actually sicknesses that we are facing, we must make sure that these people get clean drink water. Honorable Speaker, again, Water Fisheries Department is scary. I was in my village. There was a truck that came with this child or bonga. They are so small and tiny. During President Jammeh's time, you are not there to go and use those type of nets in the river or the sea to catch those type of fish. We are exploiting our resources. And if you look at them, you weigh them, even 10 of them you put them, they cannot even give you 0.5 kilo. So I think we need to be very careful. When we have the resources, these resources is not in our hand, but when we exploit it, then the repercussion will come back to us. So I think it's high time now, all of us, to be reporting, and when we report again, the ministry should take an action against those people. Recommended type of fishing net should make sure that everybody uses them. If not, wallahi, at the longer run, we will face a problem in this country. Right now, we start facing it. You go to the market, you need fish. The money that you spend on fish, you cannot spend that on meat. And then, chalo in my area was the cheapest food that you can buy. Even if you don't have money, you have $5 you can buy. But now, they can give you 2 for $25 or 3 for $25, and they are very, very, very small. So I think we should make sure that we encourage people not to fish those type of, use those type of fishing nets in our rivers. So if Water Resources Department people are here, please take notes. If you don't see, maybe you can assign people to go around those areas. Definitely you will see it yourself. And Honorable Speaker, security. For the past 3 years, we are facing security challenge in Sandu. We have reported it. We wrote to the ministry. They've given us assurance that they will have a security personnel in Sandu, but still there is no one. Diabu police station, they are without mobility. And the most scaring thing is now, very soon we go to harvest season. Cow owners and also the farm owners, we always have a challenge, particularly in that land, for 3 good years. There is this man from Wuli who will come with his cows to Sandu. And whenever he is there, he's always instigating violence. Sometimes they would take each other to police. So what we are appealing to the Ministry of Interior, if cow owner has rights for his cow to graze, the yard owner has right to protect his crops. So Minister of Interior and also the Police Commissioner in URR, we are appealing what has happened for the past 3 years not to happen again. Because we have gone to the police several occasions and still now it's repeating itself. So we are appealing to the government to make sure that everybody has a right. If you have a right as a cow owner and you want your cow to graze, fine. But the person who also go out for 3 months on the bus also has a right for his crop to be protected. So that's an issue I want to put to the ministry, the Interior Minister and also the Police Commissioner in URR. Honorable Speaker, we are also heading to an election, like the Honorable nominated member says. Peace is very important. When we talk about election, everybody, we are happy. We say December is coming, we're going to the polls, but we can only go to the polls if there is peace. I think it's everybody's responsibility to talk to your relatives, family members, friends, to make sure that we see each other as brothers and sisters, but not enemies. We don't share the same ideology. I'm in party X, you are in party Z. Doesn't mean that what you have is of no importance to the nation. We all driving towards the same end point. So it's left to you how you get to the end point. You either use motorcycle, you walk on foot, you use aeroplane, but at the end of the day, we will all meet at the same point. So what is important here, let's talk to our brothers and sisters. This is one Gambia, one people, and we make sure that going to the pool is not an enmity. We don't hate each other. The way I think I can solve your problem, you don't think this that way. You think that maybe you can solve my problem using a quicker equation than the equation that I use. But all the equation is geared towards solving a problem, and that problem is solving Gambia's problem. So, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry, thank you very much, Honorable Member. I did not want to actually interrupt your intervention, but let's just be all mindful of clause 87.5 of the standing orders. We wait for the adjournment debate to discuss other cross-cutting issues, but this is purely finances. Sorry. So may I call on the Honorable Member for Central Badibu? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, initially I didn't want to participate, but I have to. If not, I don't do justice to my people. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Minister for all these days. It is a formidable team for ensuring that the constitutional requirement prevails. Honorable Speaker, is well articulated in the Constitution, section 152. The President shall cause the minister responsible for finance to prepare and lay before the National Assembly at least 30 days before the end of the financial year estimates of the revenue and expenditure of the Gambia for the following financial year. The estimate shall include any estimate which under this Constitution are to be submitted directly to the President by the Chief Justice or any other authority for presentation by the President to the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, I think what is expected from the executive has been done. And Parliament has a very crucial role to play to make sure that this budget works. Honorable Speaker, if you go further, the Constitution said the National Assembly shall, within 14 days of the estimate being laid before it, give consideration to and approve the estimate. Honorable Speaker, by looking at this budget, we all know that it's not services or it's not service oriented. Honorable Speaker, this country has a problem. We have a problem of employment. We have a problem of our institutions. We have a problem of our incomes. What are we generating as a country, Honorable Speaker? I think the budget before us should be designed in a way that what can we do for this country? How can we develop this country economically? How can we provide employment for the young people? But if you look at all the sectors, the budget is not investing into the sectors that can create employment for the young people. And how many young people are we having graduating from University of the Gambia, Gambia College, and other higher institutions in this country? And this Parliament has a role to play. What is expected from the executive they have done in the cabinet? Now they bring this budget to us. Our role, fundamental role here, is to scrutinize and to make sure that we make recommendations. But I'm so much disappointed the way the whole entire budget session went through, Honorable Speaker. The simple reason is we cannot just be blaming the executive or blaming the ministers. We have a role to play. We have the knife before us and the cake. We need to ensure that this budget is service-oriented. If it passed through here, who are you going to blame? Honorable Speaker, coming to agricultural sector, we have sound policies. And all the time when the ministers speak before us, they have plans to come up with new policies. But these new policies are not meant to be kept aside. They need to be seen implemented. What is fundamentally wrong with us? Why implementation cannot be done? Honorable Speaker, coming to agriculture, on page 27, we say in the agriculture sector, the Gambia's bilateral relationship with several Asian countries continues to thrive. Japan has donated 125 million worth of rice. Why should we be all the time receiving donations? The Banta furrows that we have in this country here, our land is so fertile. We can produce and donate to other countries, but we are always receiving, always begging. The country is not graduating. Graduation must occur. We must make sure that we are self-sufficient. How many projects came here? Tessito project, Eat What You Grow, by the former president. Nothing works well. Everything went fail. You brought a tractor and gave it to the governor or the chief. Is that the solution to agriculture? Bring in agricultural inputs and give it to the high companies for your political agenda. Will that solve our problem? The same system is going on. And we have this kind of budget before us. Members we are all silent over it. We say, let's just pass it, this and that. You don't utter it, but that's what your action shows. Honorable Speaker, going further, coming to the fishing industry. Honorable Speaker, we are blessed with these natural resources, and we are not making basis of it. The former president left some boats here, and these boats were distributed to various fishing centers in the country. You gave them boats, you don't give them nets, you don't give them hooks. How can they go and do fishing? And all these things we are given in the name of youth empowerment. How can you go to the river to fish without necessary materials to do fishing with? It's happening in my community. You go to Albreda, they are there. You go to almost these tenders, they are there. Honorable Speaker, we must find solution. If the boards are there, the budget must have a provision where to buy nets and hooks. Honorable Speaker, page 28 on the fisheries. In addition to the pandemic, the sector continues to face challenges that are hindering its development. These include limited technologies on the production of good quality fingerlings for coastal and offshore aquaculture production, illegal and unregulated fishing, and the lack of Gambian-owned industrial fishing vessels. We expect this budget this year, 4th year in the parliament. We don't create to ensure that we have our own fishing vessel as a country. Are we serious with fishing industry? We are not. And if the cabinet doesn't, or they don't put it there, we can recommend from the budget to buy a fishing vessel for Gambia. That's our history. But this thing will continue. Another generation of parliamentarians will come. The same thing will continue. Honorable Speaker, we have to thank the government for coming up with this strategy of improving monitoring in our rivers. If you look at the same page 28, in the early 2021, the Fisheries Monitoring Center of Department was equipped with a vessel monitoring system through the funding from EU Gambia Sustainable Fishery Partnership Program. This will help us to ensure that foreigners will not penetrate our territories or illegal fishing will not occur. Fine. But the ultimate solution should be we need to have our own vessels so that our young people can go and fish and we create market for our people. Honorable Speaker, coming to works and infrastructure. We have to thank the ministry for supervising almost all the road developments, roads and bridges in the country and laying of foundation stones. Honorable Speaker, but certain roads that needs, it is under our attention and we want the ministry to be more serious with those roads, particularly Farah to Jambu. There is a construction taking place, but you don't expect a road to be constructed with only one bulldozer, one truck, I don't know, that's not a serious work. For how long they are there? And the way you are constructing that road, Honorable Speaker, if care is not taken, the repercussion will be very high to the neighbors. So I don't think that that road construction is really, helping the community and work itself. Kerewan in Jawara is also a similar project. I don't know, I think they are from the road fund. That's very good for them to be sponsored from the road fund, fuel levy or whatsoever it is. But the ministry should try to make sure that it's really monitored and it's served for the purpose. Honorable Speaker, coming to the Senegambia Bridge. Honorable Speaker, we all knew before the bridge, the ferry service was on. Now the bridge is there to facilitate the movement of people and services. Honorable Speaker, I want to raise this concern here in the Parliament so that those who are working with ferries and still now working with the ministry, I don't know whether it's jointly manned there, they need to be considered. And no matter what plan the ministry is trying to come up with, we need to consider ferries because that was a source of earning for them. Now the ferries is no more, the staff need to be employed. If we give other people the responsibility, I think it should be co-managed so that they will not be redundant. At the end of the day, we will not have the cost, to be taken to court or should to be court to be paid for compensation and things like that. Honorable Speaker, coming to Banjul Bara, we have to thank the government for the effort done to construct a new landing site, but I want to still, emphasize that the landing site is still a problem. Though a new landing site has been constructed, but ferries find it very difficult still now to have an easy landing. all the people from North Bank and or those who cross there frequently will bear me witness. Honorable Speaker, coming to environment, climate change is real. I don't think none of the stakeholders will dispute that. But do we have a proper strategy how to combat or mitigate climate change? I haven't seen it in the budget. The budget is not oriented in a way that our government will be so much responsible to climate change. Yes, we have the partners contributing, and we have national environment signing or having a close relationship with other international organizations how to fight climate change. But is our government responsible for this cause? Honorable Speaker, if you travel through the South Bank, the Fonyis, the Kiangs, charcoal production is rampant and is uncontrollable. What is the system going on? And it is contributing a lot to the damage of the ozone layer. We are all seeing it. Honorable Speaker, we must find solutions to this problem. If not, we cannot be doing firefighting. We all know that we have been talking about climate change. We go to conferences, we come back, we make commitments. At the end of the day, we contribute to the destruction of the ozone layer, which eventually leads to greenhouse effect. So Fonyi, Kiang is deforesting the little forest cover that we have. And if care is not taken, the repercussion will be very high. Honorable Speaker, what I'm saying is, in essence, the Ministry of Environment should not have only these policies on paper, but as I said, they need to be implemented. Our forest is no more safe. The authorities, we have seen the regional authorities themselves, the chiefs and the alcalos, deforesting the little forest that we have, cutting down the jallos and the canos. If we had a case, they said they couldn't charge them more than $10,000. And what do they earn from that jallo or the mahogany? They earn hundreds of thousands. You charge them $10,000. So it's not helping us. Honorable Speaker, I think as far as the environment is concerned, the commitment from the ministry should be more than what we are seeing on the ground. Honorable Speaker, coming to basic and secondary education, I think that will be my last point. Honorable Speaker, education is key. And we all have seen the new classroom blocks that has been constructed by the ministry for the past decades. Honorable Speaker, I think what we need now is how to ensure that we have the necessary apparatus. We need science labs. Honorable Speaker, we need skill centers within the school. If these centers, or if these tools are not available, it will help us to promote learning and teaching. Honorable Speaker, the schools, they are there, we have the structures, we have the chalk, we have the teachers, we have the students. Chalk and talk will not solve the problem. We have to graduate from chalk and talk. The teacher will teach the whole day, talking. There is no interactive. When I say interactive, we must have something, children must have something to play with, to learn with. At the end of the day, that's going to promote or that's going to widen their understanding and their cognitive thinking also. Honorable Speaker, basic and secondary education is key, and that's the foundation. And if the basic and secondary education is not good, it's going to affect our higher and tertiary institutions. Honorable Speaker, communication and information. In the budget, what we have for Ministry of Information, Honorable Speaker, is too small. We live in a digital world, and I believe our budget should be oriented in a way that we support that institution so that more employment will be created. Our income as a country will also be adjusted, and at the end of the day, it will bring Gambia closer to the international world. But if the communication is not, if we don't invest into communication, we will be behind. We will be behind schedule. So I think, Honorable Speaker, this is where, as National Assembly members, we need to look at those institutions and make sure that
we try to support them so that they grow. Because when they grow, automatically the economy will grow. Honorable Speaker, this is what I have at the moment, and I have to really thank the ministry for doing what is expected. But my disappointment with my colleagues also, I have to express it. This budget is our budget. We have to make it and unmake it. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you. Ilyasa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Although I don't have I don't have an appetite to speak today, but I'm just trying to, I have certain issue to express it because the Minister of Works is not even here. But I think they can just try to give me the message. If you go to page 36, on the rural road expansion program, road one which includes the following roads: Sabak Sukuto, Bombali, Sarakunda, Jinsanja. But I was definitely disappointed on it. Since 2017, I was thinking about the Farafanya Bombali road. And it's one of the most important roads at rural areas. And also there's another road from Lincoln to Kubandari. I don't know, I need to clarify on that. My last point is that, Madam Speaker, at this moment, I was thinking that they're going to reduce the amount of money we have allocated to the President's Office, OP, instead of increasing it. I really need, why is it that they have already increased about 5 million? I was thinking that they're going to reduce it so that we are in a difficult year. So I want the Minister of Finance to give me the calculation on that, why they increased that 5 million to OP. Thank you.
Sorry, I don't think the last point that you raised is possible. Anyway, Honorable. You will recall that the estimates went through the committee of the whole supply, and the decision was at the committee stage, not Minister of Finance. Thank you. Honorable Member for Upper Nyomi. Upper Nyomi, okay. Then Sami, Honorable Member for Sami. Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. The first thing that I would like to talk on is lands and regional government. If you look at page 50, it is stated that this year, 2022, the alcalos chiefs will be paid certain amount as salary. But what I want that to be clear to me is it going to be a flat rate, or how are they going to look at it? Is it going to be a flat rate? Because we don't want, there are so many small villages. We don't want a village to be skipped. We want everybody to be captured. Because, Honorable Speaker, these alcalos, they are doing a very, very good work. Any stranger that comes to the village, they will tell him or her, go to the alcalo. And some will not even give them even a single budut. Whatever they have, they try to put things together and feed them up to the last day. Even they spend 1 month there. So to come up with this, I don't know how are they going to manage it. But they also need to get something at the end of the month. Honorable Speaker, the chief, they are also doing a very good work. Some of them find it very difficult to travel if they have other errands to do. So mobility also is essential for them also to have it. Sometimes they find it very difficult if they want to move. Honorable Speaker, higher education. We have seen in the minister's speech that Ndemban Skill Center and Kanilai, those ones are under construction. They are about to be completed. And in the same speech also, he mentioned Mansakonko and Julankel. Yeah, and Julankel. But what I always used to say, what about CRR not? We also want our youths. We want all the regions have except CRR North and South. I said CRR North. I think the minister should look at that. CRR North also should have, so that our youths also will stay. Those who are unable to go to other areas, maybe because of accommodation, is a problem, they can stay there and they will learn skills and they can better up themselves. Honorable Speaker, basic and secondary education. I always start with that. Thank you very much, Honorable Member Serapunda. Just touch it and leave it. But, Honorable Speaker, I always used to say, and I will continue to say it. These teachers, I know the ministry is trying a lot, but when we say there are good things, we also at least try to say there are shortfalls, so that they can look back. Our teachers, definitely, they are very hardworking, Madam Speaker. If you go and meet some of these teachers where they are, I know some of you may not like to go to in those rooms. Yes, I was under the same situation. I know. When we went to Nyanija, in one of the schools, at night, when we met them, where they are sleeping, Madam Speaker, is serious. I think we need to look at some of these schools. And most of the senior schools also. Let's look at least every constituency where there is a senior secondary school. Even if it is going to be one, let us focus on that and see that that school is well equipped, so that others will not move to other places. If not, all of them will leave that school. The principal will say, oh, most of the students are leaving my school, going to other school. Of course they will go. They want better education, Madam Speaker. So we should factor some of these things. We look at some of these schools. At least every constituency, let's focus on one. Let that be up to the standard. Because most of those schools you see, no science lab, no computer classes, no nothing. Madam Speaker, health is a concern for all of us. If you go to some of our health centers, you feel sorry, Madam Speaker, at times. And we still want to say that we want to develop health. We want to develop health. Every year we come with budget. We want to develop health. And after passing the budget, if you go to those places, you see nothing. As I said, when a budget is passed, every citizen in this country must feel something. That yes, this year they have done something in my area. But you go to some health centers, sometimes when a competent nurse travel, sometimes you go to those health centers, they will tell you that there is no nurse here. The person who can do the work is not here. You see, there is nobody who is saying that the ambulances are not good. We don't say that. They are good. But if you bring ambulance and there is no medicine, there is no personnel there, well-trained persons there, what will happen? Those persons will die. We have to prioritize things. Opportunity cost, scale of preference. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member for Serakunda also reminded me my own area, that is Monkopa. Thank you very much. When you touch that area, I took it upon myself. I told my committee, let's go and visit Munko Park. Yes, some of them, they were annoyed. They said, no, why are you taking us to this bush? I said, you are paid for this. You must go there. That they suffer. They suffer. I said, yes, we must go. They saw the place. No access road. So, if those things today, the Honorable Minister is putting out that they have an intention to construct those areas, I think those people will be the first to benefit. Those around will be the people to benefit first from it. And he has also reminded me about the security sector. And I always used to say that here. Karantaba, thank you very much. This is why sometimes it's good to go out and see things for yourself. Thank you very much, Honorable Serakunda. He went there, I saw them there. He went there, I saw him there that day when I went on weekend. I saw them there. Yes. I always used to say, Karantaba police station, if you go there, Madam Speaker, it's terrible. The only police station in Same, even they don't have mobility. I could remember there was an incident in one of the villages in Reneru, when this armed robbery, when they came there, they start putting guns, air. Nobody comes out. Nobody comes out.
Madam Speaker, can I observe
Nobody
the Honourable
comes
Member,
out.
please? Can I observe the Honourable Member, please?
Please.
Observations
Please.
are two.
Please.
Either you want
Madam Speaker.
No, allow
Madam
me.
Speaker.
No, please.
He said,
yeah, if it is an observation, it's from him, but
He
if
said
you want to raise a
observation.
point of order, that's quite different. So he can...
I'm talking about security. It's about security. No, I'm talking about security. I'm talking about security. No, it's about security. I'm talking about security. Okay, Madam Speaker, agriculture. In the report, it is stated that 600 metric tons of fertilizer. Every year we are saying this amount of fertilizer is given to the farmers. But if we go and ask farmers, they will tell you that the way we get fertilizer is difficult. I always used to say here, you tell farmers go to the bank and buy it after you go to the store. When you look at Reliance, is in Kuntao or Pansam. Those up there, how can they have access to fertilizer? How can they have access? Crossing is a problem. How can they have access to it? We used to say that let them strategize. Let them give it to these sectors that they don't have any loans. The sectors that don't have any loans, give it to them so that those farmers can come and pay, buy fertilizer at their doorsteps. But we keep on saying the same thing. You see that it will come again, they will do this the same thing again. They'll go and take it, you go to the bank. Those who cannot go to the bank, they cannot have access to fertilizer. Those who have money, they go and buy all the fertilizer and go and resell it. And if you look at the report, and that one also, I always used to say, when we say agriculture, it's not only crops. It's about livestock. What did they have for livestock? This is why, Honorable Minister, is it not possible for this ministry, livestock, to have its own ministry? Is that not possible? So that they can manage their own resources. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. I am sure Nyani will also make the same request. Your neighbor. Opanyomi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Members, please, I saw a couple of tags. Can I take the records for the last time, please? Jara West? East?
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Madam Speaker, let me join with my colleagues to thank the Minister for fulfilling the constitutional requirement of presenting these budgets before this August Assembly. Madam Speaker, I think this budget is the most credible budget so far in the history. Yes. And, Honorable Speaker, despite all the commotion and encumbrance and hulabalo, the Minister is still very focused on his job. And he makes sure that every part of this country feel part of this budget. We all feel something, either directly or indirectly. And we will thank him for his focus and the good job he's doing to the people of this country. Madam Speaker, I will go straight to tourism, because though I don't have much to say, but this is the concern of my people. The Minister read that National Council Arts and Culture has signed an agreement with Africell company who have pledged to refurbish the Gambia National Museum in Banjul in the coming year. And when you go to 108, the last paragraph, he said, other refurbishment don't include the extension of electricity to Jufre and Bela sites and Fort Blaine in Barra, which are also World Heritage sites. Honorable Speaker, I have been saying here in this assembly, Opanyomi is the most popular constituency in the Gambia. The simple reasons are we have Kunta Kinte and we have James Island. That's Kunta Kinte Island in Opanyomi. If Kunta Kinte Island is getting eroded by the river day in, day out, this particular ministry doesn't factor anything in the budget to reclaim the island. The island is endangered. And we have two islands in Opanyomi. We have Dog Island, we have Kunta Kinte Island. This island needs to be preserved. They need to be protected. And those are the things we are using at the international market to attract tourists into this country. We are fortunate that the road is getting constructed. Fine. But what of this important, site we have within the constituency which are attracting tourists to come? They need to be protected. And that's the biggest problem, and our people are not happy. The jetty is not good. The island is getting eroded by the river day in, day out. So that's my submission. Thank you very much for giving me the floor. Thank you.
Honorable members, I know today is Friday, and some people may wish to go for Juma prayers, but I was just suggesting we take one more intervention, Woolly West, provided it's not going to be very long, then we can have a short break, and then come back after prayers by 3 o'clock. If that is agreeable, Woolly West, thank you. Remaining on my list.
Thank you. For should take that position. This is one of the most important sessions. Budget session, every sector has been dealt with by the Minister of Finance. He cannot defend them. And we are here talking. Are talking for the sake of talking? Engagement with the Assembly is the most important engagement that the ministers must have. It is prior to any other engagement that they may have. Even if they are to travel, they should cancel their travel and come here. Even if they have a cabinet meeting, they should stop it and come here. That is the law. But we have been talking about this over and over and about anything. I'm very sorry, but this is my principle. I'm not going to talk for the sake of talking. I want to talk for people to take me, either they agree with me and then use it. What we say here is they are weapons, they are tools that ministers will use to do the work that they are supposed to do. If they are not here, why are you talking? You talk about education. Where is the Minister of Education? Basic and secondary. And then higher education, where are they? Agriculture, where is she? Infrastructure, where is he? Health, where is he? No, why are you talking?
Thank you very much. In fact, for us, we even had a problem starting the session this morning because of quorum from ourselves. So let's start with ourselves first. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. And I think we can go for a short break. We come back at, yes, we have two. Busumbala, if you are going to be brief or otherwise, we need to go for break at 1:45. After break. Or now? Okay, very well.
Time me. I will speak not more than 5 minutes. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to join my colleagues, obviously, to thank the government of the day under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow and the Minister of Finance for one of the best budget so far. Because I could remember, I recall, when we came here in 2017 and all political platforms, people would complain about the budget deficit of the country. That's what the one point that they use. So if this government, the ministry and the government is responsive to that, this year I went to the breakdown and I've seen the deficits, the last page page 67 if you go there. Last year we approved a budget deficit of almost 6 billion. This year Ministry of Finance says, yes, I am going to respond to your complaints. We will see how best we can bring the deficit down. They bring the deficit right to $2.2 billion. Obviously, it's a recommendation that we need to tap the ministry on their back for that. That's a good response to the need of the National Assembly, and that's also a good response to the need of the Gambian people, because we want to minimize the debt burden of the country. Madam Speaker, good aspect also, the ministry, people talk about health. Health is a problem here. But I want to talk to my people, my colleagues. Whenever we say health, let us be specific on which aspect of health. Health is too broad. So our point here is to help the government. If, for example, in your hospital, personalities are the problem, raise it up. But if you say health is so broad, in my health, in my institution, in the health facilities in my constituency, I have specific issues that I need there. Let's put it together and help the government. Madam Speaker, this government intends to bring the health insurance, which is also with the National Assembly. If it is approved and ratified by the National Assembly, it's going to be very good for Gambian people. Madam Speaker, we have said it in the budget that you all know that our alcalos do a very good job in the communities. And in that, they also, alcalos go extra to charge. If you want to transfer your land dealings, they charge some money, which is not, it is illegal. But why some of the alcalos will say we want to do that? Because we have a responsibility that the government is not catering for. This budget, the government is catering for the alcalos. Catering for them is also going to alleviate the suffering of the people that they have with the interaction of the alcalos. Obviously, that's a good point. And I want to ask the minister, when is going to that, the effect of that payment? Is it going to be in January 3rd or not? That's what because my people, my alcalis in my constituency, when I relay the information to them, they are very happy and very, very appreciative of this government. Madam Speaker, one of the problems we want the ministry to consider, that is employment and skill building. I know the Ministry of Youth and other agencies are doing, because all the time, frequently you'll see scholarships going on in the media for Gambian youth that are interested in skill building. Those are the areas we need to try to capitalize on and give more skills to our people. Honorable Minister, you are going to be in a serious trouble, because I had the opportunity since we introduced this system that institutions come and face committees for bilaterals. You see, let us be fair to ourselves. Be like, if Ministry of Finance, what they do, if I am also the minister, I will even cut drastically from these ministries. Because sometimes you raise questions to people in these institutions. Their response will not be so much tangible for you to accept that allocation. If they say we need this, you will say, okay, how much do you think we'll need? All their response will say, I think. Somebody who is responsible for an institution telling you, I think, that means that the person doesn't have any plan. Because you should cost according to your strategies. You should cost according to your plans. So this is not a problem of the ministry, but it's the problem of the Gambian people. Gambians, let's be fair to ourselves. If we are head of every institution, plan well for the people of the country. Whenever you are asked, what do you need, you'll be able to give tangible response. But whenever they ask, I think 2 billion will be okay. I think 3 billion will be okay. If you give me that, I think, as a head of an institution, I will never agree to that. I will cut it drastically because I'll see that you are not plan. So let's be ready as Gambians to develop this country. Madam Speaker, I want to ask this question, and I want to put it Minister of Education. I started my debate here. I am part of the Defense Committee and the Education. And education is dear to me because I was a teacher throughout my experience. You see, we need to make education accessible, affordable, and relevant for the people. The relevancy is a problem because in our curriculum is training Gambians to be employees, not employers. We need to revise our curriculum. That's why my colleagues will raise the issue. If I told the Minister of Education is here, they need to understand this one. The curriculum that we have since 1965 is training Gambians to be employees, not employers. So we need to revise that. But in that, to make it accessible is also the responsibility of the government. Madam Speaker, University of the Gambia College, and all other tertiary institutions here, there was a supplementary budget here. Almost all the allocations we give it to higher education and Ministry of MOPSI for what? Scholarship. If government is contributing scholarships, giving them subvention, the tuition fees at these institutions will be considered. It's too high. Not many ordinary Gambians can afford. And it doesn't mean that Gambians don't have the intelligence to go to the university. There are some people somewhere who have the intention to go to the university, but the tuition fee at the university is too expensive. Madam Speaker, I want the government to look into that. If government is going to try to subvent, if subvention is the problem, let them subvent enoughly so that the tuition fee at the university could be easy for Gambians to go to the university and the college. Madam Speaker, youth and sports, in the speech of the minister, he made mention of the rehabilitation of the national stadium. I welcome that attitude, that development. It's a national stadium. I am not talking about Sandu, but I'm not talking about Same, but I'm talking about my Busumbala. My people will not, if my children want to play, just to develop their skills, they cannot go to the stadium. For them to be able to tap their skills at that young age, they need to have facilities in the region, in the constituency. So I want to commend the government if they want to rehabilitate the stadium, but let them also consider the grassroots, facilities at the grassroots to be upgraded. It has been mentioned here during the president's speech, and I raised it here. I am working with the Minister of Finance, Minister of Youth and Sport, but he's finding it very difficult to get fund. So, and then the fund is coming from you. The Busumbala football field and the Yundum football field has been pronounced that they are going to upgrade them. But up till today, nothing is being done, and then it's not been mentioned in the programs of the Ministry of Youth and Sport, likewise you. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the government for the increment on the health. There is a very good increment on the health, so I want to assign myself and others to go to the health, what aspect, or what program do they want to do. Madam Speaker, my second to last point will be on peace and security, the security sector. You see, we need to get the motivation of these people. Those people, they need to be comfortable and be ready to do the job. Gambia is democratic, we all claim. Democracy can never go in a country without security. When our security needs to be equipped, there is nobody here who will not complain to you that my security institutions don't have vehicle mobility. Just yesterday, the Sanamentary was talking to me. He was trying to, from his own level, to how best he can mobilize. Even it's going to be a third hand, not a second hand, a third hand vehicle for his police station in Burfoot. Likewise, if we go to all our police stations, I want the government to do holistic assessment of all security institutions, what they need, what do they need, as quickly as possible to help those people. Madam Speaker, I talked about fire and rescue service here. The issue of their fate, because they want to bring some fire engines from their donors to the country, I said, my constituency, the Combonot, Busumbala Salimentering needs a fire service, so we need to work on that. And then the peace mission, peacekeeping missions. Madam Speaker, this is a problem. This is one aspect of the security where they capitalize also as a source of motivation for them and source of income for them. Security, peace mission, therefore is closed. We have all been informed. Long time ago now, Gambians are not going for peace missions. The only mission that they want to go to Central Africa. There was a supplementary budget here that has came. Yes, we approve. But I want the ministry to understand, whenever the issue of peace mission comes, let him work amicably with the institutions to make sure that this peace mission is available for the security. My last point, Madam Speaker. My last point. As I started, the Minister of Finance will find it difficult. But I want to give them this suggestion. In your budget formulation, before you come with what you want to do, if you know what you're going to have, wouldn't it be better to have budget formulation consultation in the whole country by bringing all the stakeholders, the VDCs, the alcalos, the CFOs, the parliamentarians, into one platform and ask, what do you think are your needs? If you get that one with you, if the Minister of Works and Course came and say they want to do something in Busumbala, you will say, no, the people of Busumbala doesn't say this. This is what they said. Because we want the development that they want to do to be relevant to the people. So this is a problem. Why? Because the programs that the ministries and the agencies and the direct departments want to do, most of them are not responsive to the need of the people. That's why every time Gambians will be crying, we need this, we need this. And I said this since 1965, we are approving budgets, but yet still Gambians are crying of basic amenities. I want to suggest to do, wouldn't it be better? Next time, I don't know whether you're doing it, but because I've never been informed, and I don't think any National Assembly member has been involved into it, budget formulation consultation with relevant stakeholders at the grassroots, so that your budget could be community-driven, responsive to the need of the people. Honorable Speaker, on that note, I beg to say thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think this is a convenient point for us to suspend the sitting for a short break, and we resume at 3 o'clock to allow honorable members to go to the mosque and then lunch break. So the meeting is hereby suspended till 3 o'clock. Thank you. Good afternoon. The House now resumes. Please be seated. Thank you. We'll continue from where we stopped just before the break. Okay. Honorable Member for Jara West. Thank you.
Not first. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor, the opportunity to do my quota in the debate of the budget speech. I equally thank the Honorable Minister for fulfilling what is required for him and also transfer the burden to the National Assembly to look into the estimate that they agreed on at the level of the cabinet, which of course the National Assembly also has done justice to from the beginning up to where we are now. To give our final views on the budget, I wanted to start with, and probably before I say that, I think this could be my contribution for both the speech and if there is any adjournment debate. Because all the matters that I wanted to discuss around that debate are directly reflected in the report, so probably I can make it once and for all. My first, I call it a question, is on the page 26, Ministry of Agriculture. Since 2018, if I could remember, I am part of the Agri Select Committee, and I have asked this question here in the plenary almost twice, probably this will be the third time, that agriculture is clearly explained in the speech, ranging from agricultural production, value chain, extension workers, and important trainings to be provided for the agricultural stars. But since 2018, there was a promise that was made to this National Assembly and also made to the Select Committee on Agriculture that there was a consultancy that was to be conducted to be able to revive cooperative society in the country for farmers. We all know what value-added curtail, what it means. But it is a process, probably that we are just beginning, or we are just about to begin. But farming is ongoing. And no matter how small it becomes, at the end of every season, farmers will harvest their product. And the serious challenge they face is how to market their product. Probably this month or the beginning of next month, people will start harvesting their groundnut. We've seen what has happened in the country. Last year, almost all the products that come from that side were taken behind our border. In fact, they will cross the border and come into the Gambia, take it from our farmers at a very low price. So I was agitating. When are we going to revive this cooperative union where before we get, our own productive system in our country, where we will be able to to manufacture our own product, market is always important for farmers, especially when it comes to groundnut production. Because all the groundnut farmers produce more than what they can consume. In fact, it is the cash crop of the country. If there is no proper marketing system for groundnut, farmers will always suffer and will lose a value price for their product. Madam Speaker, secondly, that's page 28, fisheries and water resources. Page 28, in the speech, the minister made it clear that they have constraints that are listed. A list of constraints were listed regarding fisheries sector. I just want to ask the minister, do you have any potential solutions to those constraints, or they still remain a constraint? Because we look at the monetary system that we have in our waters, as it has been alluded to by Honorable Toure. Our fishing sector is not under any control. I always say this. This is an area that used to contribute a lot to our GDP. And it is the area also that is needed by every family every day. I listened to one musician singing 5 fish, $500. 5 fish, $500. And this is exactly what is happening in the country. It's getting more and more expensive because of the scarcity. And what causes this scarcity, I think, is our waters are not controlled. Among the challenges also mentioned in the speech, that the country does not have a vessel. We don't have a fishing vessel. Probably, I think we are at the right time for us to think in that way. The country has to find a way, either through a PPP or in any other form, to be able to provide a vessel for Gambian fishing fund, so that we'll be able to benefit from what we are licensing other parts of the world to come and benefit from. Without vessels, I'm not even sure of the system of monitoring that they are adopting right now. Because if I, being a fisherman in the water, and at the same time I control the system that has to monitor my work, I'm not even sure whether the results that we get from those monitorings will be of correct information. We have to find a way. You go to the neighboring countries, Senegal here, Mali. That is why they are all running to the Gambia here for fishing. There are regulations in their country that are so much concrete. You cannot go against them. Because of the monitoring mechanism they have, and probably the rules and regulations that they attach to it. That is why you go to any fish landing site, the greater number of people are either Senegalese or Malian. You go in the upcountry, find the type of instruments that they are using now to catch fish. I think of course it has been mentioned as a challenge, but probably we need to be more proactive to find solutions to these challenges. Otherwise, 5 fish for 500 may turn to be 5 fish for 1,000 in a very short time. In a very short time. Madam Speaker, that is the only way to avoid illegal fishing and unregulated fishing. A proper monetary system. And why we cannot do it is, those that are responsible for this monitoring are not going to the river. They are not in the sea. That is not a place for everybody. I think if government can engage an active fishing folk to be part of this monitoring, it's better than just to rely on the fishery extension workers that are in inland, because normally our concentration always goes to the ocean. When actually there is a problem in the ocean, but the fish breeding areas are almost forgotten. And these are the areas where fish will enter and have their small one, the fingerlings, then migrated back to the ocean. Madam Speaker, probably maybe the final one, but this one is a question. Works, construction and infrastructure. I once mentioned it here in this plenary. The only village in the Gambia that belongs to the state, that belongs to the Gambia government, is Mansakonko. It's not the only administrative town in the country, but probably all the administrative towns, all the administrative centers in this country belongs to a community that hosted the administrative body. But for Mansakonko, there is no single person living in that village that is not a civil servant, including the imam. It's on the government payroll. But somehow it has been neglected, completely neglected. Very difficult to get to Mansakonko. Very, very difficult. And it is the administration or the administrative capital of Lower River region. In the last SAP, I've seen that a road from Pakalindin to Mansakonko was featured in the last SAP. And in this budget also, in the budget speech also, it has been mentioned, Mansakonko, Pakalinding, Mansakonko, Soma. These roads are in a very, very bad condition. It's not motorable. And anytime the president went provinces, there must be a night stop at Mansakonko. And almost all the civil servants that went to Mansakonko for trek or anything has to go to Mansakonko. Honorable Minister, I'm happy to see that in the speech, and I hope it will not come back in the budget again after seeing it in the SAB, and it reflects in this budget as well, meaning the work was not done before. So I hope not to find it in another budget again, but see a road that connected these places to Mansakonko to Jara Soma, our administrative capital and our commercial capital. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Finally, petroleum and energy. Following this, the successful stabilization of A2 and A5, licensed operators by FAR Petroleum, or FAR Petronas. My question is, this was an information that we are getting since 2018 up to now. I want to ask if the minister at that capacity can tell us the level of progress in these blocks that you mentioned in the speech, because the statement was not detailed. Just inform us that these are now under FAR Petroleum or FAR Petronas, but their level of progress is not mentioned in the speech. That is a question, if the minister can clear that for me. This is all what I have for now, and I thank the Honorable Minister for bringing us a budget that we were all praying to have a budget with a limited budget deficit, and that we have seen the trend now, and we hope this continues until one day, if not a surplus budget, but we get a balanced budget. I think we have to work hard towards that target. With this, thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to take my seat.
Thank you very much. Member who wishes to take part, can you for the last time raise your hands? No? Okay, then finally, Honorable Member for Yahya.
Madam Speaker, if you recognize this morning, I was not settled. I had some problems that I was trying to solve. So
stop anybody or
yeah.
deprive anybody of
anyway,
his
my intervention
or
is
her
not,
rights.
my intervention is not taking long. I am just happy that Honorable Member for Upper Salem is saying what I have been talking about here for the last 4 years. Madam Speaker, again I repeat, if you look at this budget, agriculture is giving only 1.64%. I think that can be verified on the second to last page, page 64. $1.64% given to Ministry of Agriculture. I agree with every one of you here, and I have been saying it here, that the way agriculture is functioning, I don't like it too. And I think the minister, the portion that talks about agriculture should have also talked about these failed projects. We recently gave you 20 million to try to look how to repair those problems on these gardens, particularly, that were built by NEMA and are without 27 of them. Honorable Minister, agriculture is everybody's business here. Agriculture, this country would never move if we don't improve our agriculture. And getting projects from donor countries would never develop our agriculture sector. In fact, I recommended the last time that the government should stop giving agriculture projects, donor projects. Agriculture, government's own money should be put into agriculture, and we all set our eyes on it and make sure that it is ours. Otherwise, agriculture would never go forward. I had mentioned it here, that in my own little place called Janjambure, a settlement on its own, a district and a constituency, we have more than 100 hectares. And for the last 4 years, the project was given to somebody, and that project is still not completed. Up to date, we cannot farm in those areas. Is this what is going to continue? Is this what is going to continue? And is this what we want to see? I don't think so. Particularly my fellow NAMs from Sierra. I am, again, this is our last budget speech, probably, particularly me. I am saying, Mr. Minister, agriculture should be given preference. If that is not done, we'll take 3 steps forward and 4 steps backward. On that note, Madam Speaker, I take my seat.
Thank you very much. I had thought of just giving some short or making an observation after listening to honorable members, but I think I'll wait until the winding up of the honorable minister, by which time probably FPAC members would have been here, so that we will all benefit from it. Thank you. Any more interventions? No? I did say that was the last. Thank you. Nyanija is smiling. Thank you very much. May I now invite the Honorable Minister to respond to the issues raised by honorable members and to wind up the debate. Thank you very much. sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I have listened keenly to all the comments, observations, and recommendations, and compliments. It takes two to tango, and actually it should be the other way around. I should be the one who will commend the National Assembly. This is my fourth budget, and every year we have been improving. One of the National Assembly members said, "You are now listening to us." I have always been listening to you. But there are times that are difficult to maneuver, but every opportunity we have, we'll make sure we are responsive, we are respectful, and we are also responsible. Honorable Speaker, allow me, because after 2 hours of making a statement, sometimes at the conclusion, the message might not be our capacity, including people like me. By that time, we are already tired. I just want to recall some of the concluding remarks that I have. But the departure point is, I think I have been repeatedly talking about the three pillars when it comes to recovery, that we should laser focus on COVID pandemic, COVID-19, climate change, and debt distress. In 2018, our debt to GDP ratio was almost 129%. Now we are talking about 60-something, and we are hoping that we will be able to go further down. I think with the cooperation, collaboration of the National Assembly, I am convinced that what we are calling for and what we have been yearning for is achievable. There is nothing impossible. But let me just state, starting from 237 paragraph, that the Gambia has over the years had its share of adversities. In fact, whilst COVID-19 is the most recent and lingering adversity we face as a nation, we must remember that prior to this global pandemic, the country has faced a wide range of political, social, economic, and environmental changes. Yet through these challenges, government continues to open the door of opportunities and launch much needed reforms across all sectors of the economy. This includes reforms in our macroeconomic frames, reforms in economic governance, reforms in the way we manage our natural resources and develop our human capital. We also undertook reforms in our security sector reforms while striving to harness the potentials of digitalization, multilateralism, global trade, and most importantly, data for development. Moreover, to ensure inclusive development, government has over the years adopted innovative financing measures to reduce the rural and urban disparities. This is exemplified by the Program for Accelerated Community Development, PACD, and other numerous infrastructure projects recently launched by the President. These were aimed at not only transforming rural Gambia, but to catalyze economic growth and social development. It is therefore evident that we have come a long way as a country. This 2022 budget is thus a testament that we will not only consolidate the significant gains registered in the past, but it reaffirms our commitment to the medium-term framework. This 2022 budget also signals consistencies in our policies and once again sends a very strong signal of the Gambia we want in the 21st century. In essence, this 2022 budget signals that in the Gambia we are committed to strengthening our productivity, enhancing competitiveness, and promoting the private sector as the engine of growth in our economy. This budget also signals our commitment to a green and resilient recovery that leaves no one behind. Meanwhile, we also affirm through this 2022 budget that in the Gambia we will leverage digitalization, foster innovation, and leapfrog the Gambia into the next frontier of its development. Furthermore, we also commit to strengthen our human capital stock and sustainably manage our natural resources. Finally, it is the intent of this 2022 budget to signal that in addition to nurturing strong institutions, we will exercise utmost fiscal prudence. Also, we want to signal in this 2022 budget that it cannot be business as usual, and that going forward, national investments will not be for consumption, but rather converted into assets. Honorable Speaker, the reason why I depart from this concluding statement is that what I have seen and what I have witnessed is very encouraging in the sense that we know our problems and we have a vision, the long-term vision that we want to prepare, commencing 2022 up to 2050. It is actually the Gambia that we want. Yes, we are talking about agriculture. Very interesting statements. Why? Go into the mirror and look at ourselves exactly. We have been talking about it. Have we been doing anything about it? I think it is a responsibility for all of us. If we look at our own GLF funds, I'm sorry that I have to start with agriculture because it has been re-echoed over and over by almost all speakers. From 2020, I'm not talking about donor funds, I'm talking about locally. Last budget when I came, I said it will be revolutionary and transformational. And this budget, what we are saying, we are going to laser focus and invest our energy, our time, everything on the game changers. And I think this is what all the signals that I have been highlighting. Agriculture 2020, GLF 488 million. 2021, 402 million. 2022, 387 million. Something is wrong. The reason why I said it's transformational and revolutionary in the sense that yes, you can be the top in our priorities, but if you cannot convince us based on the program-based budgeting, we will not give it to you. And the evidence is that what we have been seeing is the performance is not there. We have been increasing just this year alone. Last year, with the fertilizer subsidy crop financing, you almost talk about $200 million. Now we are talking about $500 million. Is that sustainable? No. Is it efficient? No. That money could have been spent somewhere in the health sector and other sectors where we believe the absorption capacity is there. But the reason why I'm coming into this is that a couple of months ago, I said it's a procedure. We'll be coming to the National Assembly and have the committees together. The Ministry of Finance, aid coordination, we were able to put under one roof every project in this country And we were able to connect all the donors, and because we wanted to know exactly where the problem, we know exactly what the problem of agriculture, included in the most serious problems that we have in this country is maslaha. We have companies that are not delivering. We have companies and individuals that are openly not delivering exactly what they've been asked to do, and nothing has happened to them. They're here. So is that a hidden problem? It is not a hidden problem. Unless and until we take it on ourselves to be combative in the way we approach it. And what we did after that, we're going to have a post-mortem, and this post-mortem will not include the donors, where we are now going to blacklist. We are going to tell the Public Procurement Authority that these are companies that did not deliver. We must blacklist them. And that's where we will then come to you and explain to you. We believe that we have now cleaned up or reduce the anomalies. We want us to give more to agriculture. But without that, there is no way. Yes, it is a cycle. It is a cycle. These things that we have been spending is taxpayers' money. And we can cry about agriculture, but if we don't solve these problems, it will always be there. That is where I said, I will be very clear. I will not even talk about donor fund. I'll just talk about GLF. Education, 2020, 2.6 billion, 2021, 2.8 billion, 2022, $3.0 billion. And yet you're telling me I'm not giving much to education. Is that a fair statement? No. It is not. And this is only GLF. Health, 2020, 1.5 billion, 2021, 1.6 billion, 2021, 2022, 2.2 billion. Now, analytically, how do we go about really going and breaking down into components? What are we paying? Are we going more into the projects and programs rather than administrative, rather than consumption? These are things that the Ministry of Finance, in its new game changer philosophy, is we will not be blackmailed anymore. If you don't give us the actual activity reports based on what you have presented during the bilaterals, we are not going to be dispersing the money. Our attitude is going to change, and I'm sure the complaints will be coming to the National Assembly that they have not given us this, they have not given us that. But we are very, very serious with that. Youth and sports, yes, it's true. We have been really, in terms of the allocation, 2021, we gave them 117 million, 2022, we gave them 123. But this does not include the youth and sports levy. The youth and sports levy is separately treated because of the way it is managed. It's very responsive. And this year, we have seen that we are, according to the rough estimate, close to almost $100 million. But these are immediate response that, you know, we pay for the football team, we pay for the Olympics, we pay for the volleyballs, crickets, all across, and we also building stadiums. So what you see here is not a true reflection. But as we go and be able to digitalize the system to be more responsive so that they can access their funds quicker, maybe we can see where we can include them into this into the main budget, which gives a very realistic picture of actually what we are doing for the youths. At the beginning, our honorable member from Serakunda did ask about sensitization. According to the Ministry of Health, the vaccine hesitants, they have been working very hard. They've been doing everything possible, national, local. They are using churches, mosques. They're doing everything possible to increase the sensitization. The SOEs, I have actually made mention what we have been doing in terms of the audit that we have already done. just to make sure that they are properly scrutinized and that eventually we will be able to have the SOE commissions, which we hope will be able to solve most of the issues that we have been confronted with. We said in 2018-2019, government of the Gambia conducted audit of the state-owned enterprises. The findings of these studies revealed weaknesses of the internal controls environment, weak governance systems, and lack of proper financial statements. These issues undermine the transparency, accountability, financial, and operational performance of the state-owned enterprises. Based on these findings, the ministry felt obliged to enhance our oversight of SOEs and assist the SOEs to improve their financial and operational maintenance. So these are things that we are really moving very fast on them to ensure that it is not a sector, we will not be pumping more, we will be more responsible, and to make sure we strengthen the board of directors. And we will also now change with the SOE bill that we will be coming up with. The board of directors now will be held responsible. It is not only about the managing director or the management. Therefore, the selection of the members of the board of directors will also be very clear in the bill. What type of personalities will be there, just to ensure that whatever we are doing it right. In the NDP, talking about the future, 2022 to 2015, I think everything that we do will be guided by the policies contained in the National Development Plan. This time, the difference is going to be that the M&E system within the plan will be very, very strong. We will strengthen it. We have to make it. We have to capacitize it to make sure that we do the regular monitoring and to make sure that whatever we are doing, we have to cost it, and we'll be able to know exactly the period that the assessment will take. When I talk about game changers, I think this year I have already mentioned that we have bills that I will be coming to the National Assembly, and among others, the PPP bill, the Capital Markets bill, the SOE bill, and then the National Health Insurance bill. Included in it is the GPPA bill. These are all part of the game-changing activities. We believe that once it is enacted, once the National Assembly gives us the green light, we will be able to go in full force. Game changers, again, the OMVG recently launched. We hope that this will be able to reduce the cost of electricity, and thereby the operational costs of some of these medium and small-scale enterprises will improve. We did talk about fisheries. Yes, we are on the verge of procuring 2 patrol boats that will be monitoring not only the poachers, but also to protect our own ace cable, which have been suffering a lot due to certain fishing activities. These are things that we hope that once it is done, we should be able to address those issues. But the procurement process will be fast, and the funds we will get the funds from the Fisheries Development Fund. Someone also, I think Willie did ask about the embargo of flowers. That was just a short-term thing. The price of wheat was going up, and that there was this suspicion that most likely once we allow the flowers to be going out, the cost of the bread and the prices will go up. So it's just a temporal thing that the Ministry of Trade is responding to the market conditions. We said, why do you have to export whilst knowing that shortage is imminent? These are the things that we are trying to avoid. On digitalization, I've said here that we will be investing almost close to $40 million in digitalization. So, but the prerequisite of digitalization is access to electricity. You have The National Assembly has ratified the loan, the soft loan that we get from the AIB to electrify, solarize 1,100 schools and health centers. We are hoping that once this is done, digitalization will be easy, and every child in this country will be able to have access to the to electricity, and we will be able to adopt the one child, one laptop policy. That we can go in a big way, where we know that once we do that, the country will be transformed. We did talk about the issue of tax waiver. You are the one who gave us the authority. You delegated. The Public Finance Act was passed here, 2014, in the National Assembly. So you cannot come the second half of the game and you said you are the captain of the game. Whilst we've already done, we have reduced. We've saved $1.4 billion. Now we are going ahead, you are telling us to come at the second half of the game and you be the captain. We appreciate the delegated authority and we appreciate your support. We can assure you by the time we come back here, there has been a lot of complaints, a lot of protests, but we are very strong with that. Leakages, they are there. Though these are the so-called NGOs that we are going after. And some of the individuals that will hide behind the NGOs is there. The difference is it is not now the minister alone that will single-handedly approve or disapprove. The ministry, we are able to constitute a committee comprising of the ministry, chairing. We also have trade there, we have JRA, we have the accountant general, we have the internal audit. And these young men, every Wednesday, Thursday, they will sit down and look at all the applications. Our problem is that the past activities are also haunting us. The ministries, departments, some of them will go and make commitments, sign agreements, projects that will just waive everything. And honestly, anytime we look at some of these agreements, billions of dollars are going. But what we have now made since last budget, any agreement that is signed without consulting us is null and void. And we have seen a very positive response. So whatever is happening now, these are decisions that we have taken 10 years ago. But we have to really manage with it for the time being. But I can assure you, in the long run, what we have started, we should be able to address this. The figure will go down significantly. Yes, the alcalos, my understanding, I did ask that question about the salaries, whether there will be discriminatory, and the response I have is no. It was no, that once you are an alcalde or a chief, you cannot discriminate. That will be so difficult if you want to tell me because you have this population, you will be paid this. No, it will be very, very difficult. Who knows? That community over time might, expand to, exponentially. So it will be very, very difficult to discriminate when it comes to that. Yes, basically, Honorable Speaker, these are the issues that I was able to gather from the comments, and that I can still wait for any other additional, or if I miss anything. I have been taking a lot of notes, and that, yes, the agriculture, we have been really encouraging private sectors. I think there is a very famous private sector farm now. It's called the Maru Farms, and they are working with us. During the COVID, we were able to buy all their produce, even at above market price, just an encouragement to make sure. But I was made to understand, I still have to go and visit there, that this farm alone was able to put together almost 200 women farmers. And these are the sort of things that we want to see and we want to encourage, that we will make sure we will give the company the support. And there are a lot of other small and medium-sized enterprises that are there, that are supplying the hotels, and that I am sure that when we continue to allow them to have access, the Social Development Fund, they've been giving a lot of facilities to some of them, and they have been performing. Yes, when it comes to the issue of the deficit, I think we have a program. We have a program, and our medium-term expenditure framework is a great help. That we know exactly all the ministries that we know in the next 3-4 years. You know exactly your ceilings and your targets, exactly how much the available resources will be able to give you. But if you don't come up with the proper programs, then there is nothing that no matter how important your sector is, there is nothing that we can do. Talking about tourism, I think we've all also, yes, it's been a big problem, but we know in the past that our problem with tourism, it has been the backward linkage. And I think with the plan now, it's been addressed that we will be able to not nationalize or localize, but we should be able to make sure that the tourism industry will be able to get a lot of their materials, raw materials, locally, instead of importing everything that they are using. So basically, yes, we have been able to go down on the deficit, and yet we are still increasing expenditure on the social sectors. I have highlighted here agriculture, education and health especially, and this is not including some of the grant facilities. We've just recently concluded on health essential project, over $50 million in grants that they'll be able to build up their logistics, some of the treatment centers, refurbishment, all of those things that are happening in the health sector. But I am sure when the health minister comes, he will be able to go more into in-depth, and really, they have been doing a lot of work, and I'm sure that at the end of the day, we will get exactly where we want to get. Slow it can be, but the possibilities are there, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. Basically, someone also asked about the petroleum. Yes, by the end of this year, this Petronas partnership, the target, the agreement is that by end year, they will drill. Whether it will be successful or not, I don't know, but that's the agreement, that they are going to drill, and that the National Assembly, the Minister of Energy will come back here and update you on those developments. Honorable Speaker, those are the issues that I thought we should, or I'll just wait in case I miss any question.
I really don't want to open the floor again, otherwise now if I allow one, I'll have to continue, and then it means that everybody will have or would want to have a second bite of the cherry, and really, unless it's some clarification, but you see, everybody will start raising his or her tag up again. So I think it's better just to leave it at that. Pardon? When we get to the committee stage. Yeah, when we get to the committee stage, you may wish you can raise some of those issues that you want. Thank you for your understanding. Honorable members, now in accordance with clause 87(6) of the standing orders, I now put the question that the bill entitled the Appropriation Bill 2022 be read a second time. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Clerk, can you please read the short title of the bill?
Appropriation Bill 2022.
Thank you very much, honorable members. As per clause 87, subclause 8 of the standing orders, I hereby resolve the Assembly into the Committee of Supply forthwith to consider the appropriation bill at the Committee of the Whole Assembly, head by head. Thank you. But earlier on, I said I just wanted to make a short statement before we go to Committee of Supply. And when I looked around, I observed that some members were not around, and they are here. Now, it's just this, having listened to the interventions of almost all honorable members who took the floor, something just came to my mind, and that is if all the committees of the National Assembly can sit and sort of draw up some suggestions or proposals for the way forward, at least for continuation and for incoming committee members, because I have had lots and lots of proposals and suggestions, which I think are very good. I think they should be reduced into writing by the various committees. That's my proposal. But it's sort of a handing over, but I think it's think about it, honorable members, and you can consult the office of the clerk and we'll work on it. Thank you very much. The assembly will now, yes. Thank you very much, honorable members. Committee of Supply. The Assembly will now go into the Committee of Supply to consider the bill head by head. Clerk.
Head 01, Office of the President.
Okay. Thank you very much. It is proposed that head 01, Office of the President, amounting to 677,649,925 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So the amount. Yes. Head 01, Office of the President, in the amount of $677,649,925 now stand part of the bill.
Head 02, National Assembly.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that Head 02, National Assembly, in the sum of $376,581,024 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. So Head 02, National Assembly, in the sum of $376,581,024 now stand part of the bill.
Head 03, Judiciary.
Thank you. It is proposed that Head 03, Judiciary, in the amount of $245,238,000 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Head 03, Judiciary, the amount of $245,238,000 now stand part of the bill.
Head 04, Independent Electoral Commission.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that Head 04, Independent Electoral Commission, in the sum of $118,666,170 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So, head 04, Independent Electoral Commission, in the sum of $118,666,170 stand part of the bill.
Head 05, Public Service Commission.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that head 05, Public Service Commission, the amount of $12,358,390 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under head 05, Public Service Commission, and the sum of $12,358,390 stand part of the bill.
Head 06, National Audit Office.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that head 06, National Audit Office, and the sum of $193,716,928 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Now, under head 06, National Audit Office, in the sum of $193,716,928 stand part of the bill.
Head 07, Ministry of Defense.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that head 07, Ministry of Defense, in the sum of $776,604,480 stand part of the bill. Yes, those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under head 07, Ministry of Defense, in the sum of $776,604,480 stand part of the bill.
Head 08, Ministry of Interior.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that head 08, Ministry of Interior, in the sum of $1,180,324,228 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Now, under head 08, Ministry of the Interior, in the sum of $1,180,324,228 stand part of the bill.
Head 09, Ministry of Tourism and Culture.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under head 09, Ministry of Tourism and Culture, in the sum of $44,562,925 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Under head 09, Ministry of Tourism and Culture, in the sum of $44,562,925 stand part of the bill.
Head 10, Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Thank you. It is proposed that under head 10, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the sum of $1,9,435,520 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under head 10, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the sum of $1,09,435,520 stand part of the bill.
Head 11, Ministry of Justice.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that head 11, that under head 11, Ministry of Justice, in the sum of $113,457,763 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under head 11, Ministry of Justice, and the sum of $113,457,763 stand part of the bill.
Head 12, Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs.
Thank you. It is proposed that under head 12, Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, in the sum of $1,367,081,659 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Thank you. So under head 12, Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, in the sum of $1,367,081,659 stand part of the bill.
Head 13, Pensions and Gratuities.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under head 13, Pensions and Gratuities, in the sum of $425,093,000 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. Thank you. So the ayes have it. Under head 13, Pensions and Gratuities, in the sum of $425,093,000 stand part of the bill. You have to excuse my maths.
Head 14, Office of the Ombudsman.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that head 14, under head 14, Office of the Ombudsman, in the sum of $34,401,519 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under head 14, Office of the Ombudsman, in the sum of $34,401,519 stand part of the bill.
Centralized Services.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under head 15, under head 15, Centralized Services, in the sum of $2,090,323,000 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. So under head 15, sorry? No, okay. Sorry, under head 15, Centralized Services, in the sum of $2,090,323,000 stand part of the bill.
Head 16, Ministry of Lands and Regional Government.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under head 16, Ministry of Lands and Regional Government, in the sum of $281,320,833 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under head 16, Ministry of Lands and Regional Government, in the sum of $281,320,833 stand part of the bill.
Head 17, Ministry of Agriculture.
Thank you. It is proposed that under head 17, Ministry of Agriculture, in the sum of $392,793,107 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Under Head 17, Ministry of Agriculture, in the sum of $392,793,107 stand part of the bill. Thank you.
Head 18, Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under Head 18, Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, in the sum of $2,196,007,806 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under Head 18, Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, in the sum of $2,196,007,806 stand part of the bill.
Head 19, Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under Head 19, Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, in the sum of $134,770,267 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under Head 19, Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, in the sum of $134,770,267 stand part of the bill.
Head 20, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under Head 20, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, in the sum of $3,033,468,578 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. So under Head 20, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, in the sum of $3,033,468,578 stand part of the bill.
Head 21, Ministry of Health.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under Head 21, Ministry of Health, in the sum of $2,258,719,482 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under Head 21, Ministry of Health, in the sum of $2,258,719,482 stand part of the bill.
Head 22, Ministry of Youth and Sports.
Thank you. It is proposed that under Head 22, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, in the sum of $123,472,170. Okay, I'll read that again. I'm sorry. Under Head 22, Ministry of Youth and Sports, in the sum of $123 million. Please, can you look? Yeah, let's all be together. I am going by the bill.
Yeah, 23.
We're going by the printed bill. I am, honorable, please, I am reading what I have on this bill. I understand that there was an other document circulated. Probably that shows a different figure, I don't know. But what I am saying is the essence here is to rectify and do, recalculate, do some corrections. The Honorable Minister and his team are here. FPAC, they are here. The other committees are here. And it's for reconciliation purposes, so that I will read what is the correct figure. Now, sorry, and I have been made to understand the figure in the bill is correct. It was the Secretariat that made an error on this single sheet.
No, on this one.
Yeah, sorry, on this single sheet. But the error is on this sheet, but the bill is correct. So it is 123. It should have been on the environment, and they put it on the, yes, let me hear.
Yes, Honorable Chair, at least we should know where the error lies, because what this is saying, Standing Order 92, paragraph 2, and that's the exercise. On consideration of an appropriation bill in the Committee of Supply, the clauses of the bill shall stand postponed, which we have done, until after consideration of the schedule. And on consideration of the schedule, each vote of expenditure shall be considered with the appropriate estimate. So the assumption is that this is the estimate, and then this is the bill. So we are just simply comparing the two. Somehow, it's good to guide us. Is the estimate wrong, or is the bill wrong?
I think I stand to be corrected by the minister and the team, my secretariat, but the explanation I am being given is that the estimate contains some slight errors. Is that so?
So
yeah, the entry of... No.
Could have
okay, just hold on a minute. They are telling me that the entry on the... You have on the head 23, is it? 22. On the head 22 is Minister of Youth and Sports. Hmm? There is an adjustment of 845, which should not have been there. Is that correct? It should not have been there, but it should have been on the environment.
Yes.
Did you get it? Just on the environment is 23.
Could FPAC then tell us to delete the estimate that is put there?
Yeah, this was prepared by the Secretariat. They realized their error when we were doing this thing. So we agree that the error is on our side, but the bill is correct. What is on the bill is correct.
I think the error is on...
It is in reflection of the approved estimates. The bill is correct, but it is in reflection of the approved estimates.
Yes, I understand. This bill is a reflection of the approved... Sorry. I have to take 123, 472, 170. Did you get it? Yes, as opposed to 122. Now, are we all, yeah. So, where were we? Sports? Minister of Youth and Sports. It is, we'll take it again. It is proposed that under head 22, yes, Ministry of Youth and Sports, in the sum of $123,472,170 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So on the Ministry of, on the head 22, Ministry of Youth and Sports, in the sum of $123,472,170 $472,170 stand part of the bill.
Head 23, Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, Water Resources and Wildlife.
Again, we appear to have the same problem. It was an error at the Secretariat with the figures. So what we have in the bill is the correct figure.
But let them correct their estimates.
Can you correct your estimates where under environment, under 23, environment, climate change and wildlife, you insert minus 845. If you minus 84500, it will now give you 243,033.009. Yeah.
Yes, I had the clerk pronouncing Minister of Environment, Water Resources, and I don't know. I think it should be natural resources. Check it properly. I don't know what. Yes.
It's the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, Natural Resources and Wildlife.
That's the correct.
Natural Resources and Wildlife. Look at your estimates. Look at your, look at this document.
Yeah, so it should be changed instead of water to natural.
To natural. There's a slight error of the nomenclature in the bill. So it will be an amendment.
Yeah.
Sorry, it is proposed that under head 23, yes, Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, Natural Resources and Wildlife in the sum of $243,033,009 stand part of the bill as amended. Yeah, the amendment refers to the title on the name of the ministry. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Under head 23, Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, Natural Resources and Wildlife in the sum of $243,033,009 stand part of the bill.
Head 24, Ministry of Information, Communication and Infrastructure.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under head 24, Ministry of Information, Communication and Infrastructure in the sum of $70,792,968 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under head 24, Ministry of Information, Communication and Infrastructure in the sum of $70,792,968 stand part of the bill.
Head 25, Ministry of Fisheries and Water Resources.
Thank you. It is proposed that under head 25, Ministry of Fisheries and Water Resources in the sum of $55,385,870. Okay, $55,385,870 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under head 25, Ministry of Fisheries and Water Resources in the sum of $55,385,870 stand part of the bill.
Head 27, Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology.
Thank you. It is proposed that under head 27, Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology in the sum of $287,684,247 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Under head 27, Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, in the sum of $287,684,247 stand part of the bill.
Head 29, Ministry of Petroleum and Energy.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under head 29, Ministry of Petroleum and Energy, in the sum of $66,521,100 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under head 29, Ministry of Petroleum and Energy, in the sum of $66,521,100 stand part of the bill.
Head 31, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that head 31, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, in the sum of $86,018,726 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Now, under head 31, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, in the sum of $86,018,726 stand part of the bill.
Head 33, National Human Rights Commission.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under head 33, National Human Rights Commission, in the sum of $54,678,820 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Thank you. Now, under head 33, National Human Rights Commission, in the sum of $54,678,820 stand part of the bill.
Head 50, National Debt Service.
Thank you very much. It is proposed that under head 50, National Debt Service, in the sum of $5,742,065,131 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Now, under head 50, National Debt Service, in the sum of $5,742,065,131 stand part of the bill. So the total?
Yeah, no, you go back to schedule one. You go to clause one.
Okay.
Announce clause
Announce?
subtitle.
Yes.
Announce.
Subtitle and commencement.
Clause one.
Clause 1.
Short title and commencement. It is proposed that clause 1 of the bill stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Now, clause 1, short title and commencement stand part of the bill.
Clause 2, expenditure of $23,692,226,645,000 out of the consolidated revenue fund. Out of the authorized consolidated revenue fund.
No. Not. Repeat the figure. Back, repeat the figure.
Clause 2, expenditure of 23,692,226,645 out of authorized consolidated revenue fund.
Yes, thank you. Honorable members, it is proposed that under clause 2, expenditure of 23,692,226,645 out of the authorized consolidated revenue fund stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So under clause 2, expenditure of 23,692,226,645 out of the authorized consolidated revenue fund stand part of the bill. That's all. Thank you. That's the end of the committee stage, so our House will now resume up. Thank you. Honorable members, the House now resumes. May I now call on the Honorable Minister to report to the whole Assembly what transpired at the Committee of Supplies. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I report that the bill entitled the Appropriation Bill 2022, having gone through the Committee of Supplies and considered with amendments, be approved.
Thank you very much. I wasn't sure whether I was on my correct page. Now I put the question that the report of the Committee of Supply considering the Appropriation Bill 2022 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. May I now call upon the Honorable Minister to move a motion for the third reading of the bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I move that the bill entitled the Appropriation Bill 2022, having been considered with amendments, be read a third time and pass.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, it has been moved that the bill entitled the Appropriation Bill 2022, having been considered with amendments, be read a third time and passed. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So, Clerk.
The Appropriation Bill 2022 is read a third time and passed.
Thank you very much. Now, Clerk, can we proceed? Next item on the order paper. Thank you.
Standing Order 54-1, motion on the adjournment debate. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned, sign and die by the Honorable Majority Leader and Member for Combo South.
Yes, honorable members, I see that it's getting to 5:30. So, yes, so can someone please move that we sit beyond 6 o'clock?
Thank you.
Or unless you want us to come back to yes, to move a motion to sit beyond 6.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I move that this assembly sit beyond 6 o'clock.
Thank you very much, Madam. I second the motion.
Pardon?
Two of them seconded the motion.
Very generous, huh? Okay, it has been moved and seconded that the assembly sits beyond 6 o'clock. Thank you. Yeah, oh yes. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, please say no.
No.
So the ayes have it. Let's be more serious. No. Okay. Clerk, you can continue.
No, he has done that.
Oh, he has done that. Okay. Honorable members, today is the final sitting of the 4th ordinary session in the 2021 legislative year. And I must thank all of you and the Office of the Clerk for the tremendous sacrifice and commitment together with cooperation during this short but very, very hectic session. It was really very intensive, and we all committed ourselves to go the extreme mile to execute our mandate as a legislature. Now, as per the order paper, we will today start the motion on the adjournment debate to adjourn this ordinary session, sine die. Now, in accordance with the provisions of the standing orders, that is 54-1, I will allow the Honorable Majority Leader and Member for Combo South to move a motion for the Assembly to adjourn sine die. But before doing so, I wish to draw the attention of the Assembly to clause 54.3 of the standing orders that no honorable member shall speak for more than 15 minutes during the debate, except that the Speaker may, at his or her discretion, allow the mover of the motion extra time for his or her reply. I will therefore appeal to honorable members to take note of the said provision of the standing orders regarding the adjournment debate, and I'll now invite the Honorable Majority Leader to move the motion for the Assembly to adjourn sine die. Honorable.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Clause 54, one would like to give this August Assembly a summary of what transpired during this 4th ordinary session in the 2021 legislative year for the period 18 to today, the 29th of October 2021. Honorable Speaker, this year's 4th ordinary session of the National Assembly in the 2021 legislative proceeded in a different fashion in the sense it could not entertain any other business other than the budget of the Republic due to the tight schedules of the presidential elections in December 2021. Honorable Speaker, during the course of the deliberations, we considered and adopted records of votes and proceedings of the daily sittings of the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, motion. The Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs tabled before this August Assembly the annual draft estimates of revenue and expenditure of the Republic of the Gambia for the period 1st to the 31st of December 2022, both days inclusive. Bill, the Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs also tabled before this August Assembly the 2020 Appropriation Bill. Honorable Speaker, this August Assembly is here today to commence the motion on the adjournment debate for the Assembly to stand adjourned, sign and die. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of both sides of the Assembly, I wish to take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to the people of the Gambia for the trust and confidence reposed on this great August Assembly. We reassure them of the Assembly's continued resolve to serve the supreme interest of the Gambia without fear or favor or any party affiliation. Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I will thank all the honorable members for their foresight and dedication to national duty amidst these very unusual times of the COVID-19 pandemic and other commitments. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from all this deadly illness and bless the people of this great country, the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, I would also like to thank the clerk and staff of the National Assembly Service for all the support and services rendered to the honorable members during this session, particularly during the consideration of the 2022 annual estimate. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? Yes, Sabah Sanjal.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Just allow me the opportunity to say this before I second the motion. I have a point to make, and I don't want to use during the debate on the budget. That is, if you could remember, during the second ordinary session. Yes, I rise to second the motion. Honorable Speaker, I want to move a motion after that. But before that, let me just state this. During the second ordinary session. Yeah, okay, no problem.
We will follow to make sure that it's sorted out so that everybody will move forward. Sarakunda, you want to?
Yeah, I think, maybe, I was ill for a while, so I don't know what eventually happened. But I am sure, Honorable Speaker, that petitions are handled by a petition committee. And the Standing Committee on Defense and Security is not aware of any such thing being brought to its notice. I just want to make that clear.
Labor the point, but he is saying that he moved a motion. So let's allow Office of the Clerk to look into it, check the records, and we move forward. Now let me finish the procedure first, Honorable. It has been moved and seconded that this August body do consider the motion for the ordinary session to adjourn sine die. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. Or for the ministers to be here, I saw 2 ministers earlier on, but it will be very difficult for the office to communicate at this hour for them to come in at 9 o'clock. But of course, it seems that you've withdrawn that motion, and now you are moving a motion for the Assembly to adjourn sine die without debate. Yes. Any seconder? Foni Bintankaran line.
I rise to second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the Assembly adjourns sine die without debate. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no.
No.
So the ayes have it. I think the no voice was very loud, but the ayes have it. So the Assembly will now stand adjourned sine die without debate. But before adjourning sine die, may I just thank all honorable, let me just thank all honorable members for their intervention and just say that this brings us to the end of this ordinary session. We will very soon reconvene for an extraordinary session to consider 2 bills under a certificate of urgency requested by the Presidency. The Office of the Clerk will formally communicate to that effect. But before putting the question for this Assembly to adjourn sine die, I wish once more on behalf of both sides of the Assembly and indeed on my own behalf to register our appreciation to the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs and his entire staff for the cooperation during the ordinary session. I also wish to reiterate our thanks and appreciation to the media fraternity. And your cooperation is always cherished and partnership acknowledged. And we hope that it will continue with cooperation and better understanding. Once again, we are greatly indebted and grateful to the clerk and staff of the National Assembly for the continued support and invaluable services rendered to honorable members. And I thank you all for your kind attention. And I now put the question, be it resolved that this August Assembly to stand adjourned, sine die. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. The Assembly now stands adjourned, sine die. I thank you all for your kind attention.
sama waji nak yaa ngi bëgg a yàgg ci dëkk bi sa holiday yi gudd na lool sax vacances yi yàgg na waaye dama ni naa ñibbisi ci sama réew investir wax nga dëgg sa saafara man maa ko yor jógal ñu dem topp ma ci sama waaj da ngaa bëri pexe de topp ma
xam ngeen Gambia léegi dafa open loolu